everybody? Man, welcome to the Fantasy Fuck Around. Dude, Josh, this is some new duds, man. What's going on?
I know. Here? Well, it's a new season. The draft is over. Therefore, it's the next fantasy round of new rookies, new teams for older players. We haven't really gone over that, and then new teams for younger players. So therefore, it's a new logo. It's in this situation.
Yeah, new logo, new season. We just got done with the draft, which is nice. I mean, there was some events, some head scratchers, but we'll get into that. But yeah, so anybody who's watching for the very first time, what's up? It's your boy Tvshka. This is a Josh. I can't remember.
I know
the new setup. The new setup's getting me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, how you been, man? How was your football this season going so far?
It's been missing just every little bit ounce that we would get. But as a college sports fan, there's a lot of transfer portal stuff going around. So the off season in college sports now, because of NIL and everything, has kept me going. But it doesn't mean that I'm not still paying attention to the draft and seeing everyone having the best draft ever, except for one team. But basically, everyone thinks that their draft is fine. There's been some people that are trying to reach to say there's certain bad. So we're just going to round it up as a total off season for each team, rather than just the draft, because it feels like everyone won the draft except for one. Yeah,
well, I guess that's it. That's the show. It was an off season. No, I mean we got the UFL, right? Yeah. So at least that's a little bit of football. I still just can't get into it, man. I'm not.
Well, you better get into the way they're doing kickoffs, because the NFL is going to be doing that.
That's very true. Yeah, they did make that rule change this year. But we did do the bracket, bitches, right? Mm-hmm. So we actually did the NCAA tournament. And, man, I'm telling you, I mean, NBA, we may have to do NBA finals here soon enough.
Yeah, it's just that thing takes forever, just like hockey.
Yes, yeah. And also, somehow the Thunder game is going to be a blackout game tomorrow.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Yeah. It's NBA playoffs. It's the number one seed. It's the MVP player. Let's not show it. Let's push over to Bally Fitness. I think it's more of a contract move or just money. Just like the NBC game with the Chiefs and the Bills, I believe. So,
I don't know.
Anyway, regress, man. We're talking NFL today, folks. Yes. And the NFL draft has completed. And you know what, dude? I don't really know a whole lot about this shit. Do you?
Not as much as I would think I would like.
Okay. Do you got anybody we could call up?
Yeah, I think I got my guy Dave Steger down, a Green Bay fan.
Nailed
it.
Yeah,
nailed it. Ball aficionado down from all the way from Augusta, Georgia, but a Green Bay fan nonetheless. So he's coming up from all sides of the U.S. Let's bring him on.
Dude, let's go. Let's bring on Dave Steger. What's up, baby?
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just keep holding him up.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
dude, steak and cheese, man. I love that handle, by the way.
Hey, if you're a cheesehead, you got to roll with it. I love steak, so might as well.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would have went like steak and eggs. I'm more of a steak and egg kind of person, but
I mean,
that's just me.
I still need to have some pure Wisconsin cheese curds. I need to have some pure Wisconsin cheese curds.
So do you guys have Aldi nearby?
Yes.
Go to Aldi. They get them shipped in from Wisconsin.
Oh.
Okay.
Noted. Aldi is the best cheapest groceries for the fine products.
Yeah, I live in Southeast Oklahoma, so the nearest Aldi's is probably 3 hours away.
It's worth it. You get cheese curds.
It may be, or I have a manager who's from Wisconsin, so maybe I'll just get some cheese from him, right? But
there you go.
Yeah, get it straight from the source. So he makes it himself. He churns butter once or twice, living in an Amish paradise. But no, it's so Dave. I mean, for our fans, which is really just my mom and I think Josh's mom. Who the fuck are you? But also, I mean, what's kind of your background?
So I am 36. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, 6 years. I was signal background. I did a deployment in Afghanistan. I met a very beautiful woman named Jennifer over in Germany. She is a German national. I've been happily married for 12 years, going on 13 years in July. And we've got 4 kids now. So my bio and Twitter, everyone's like, wait, I thought you said 3 kids. I'm like, nope, just had a 4th. 5-month-old now. So we're cut off at that. And we are growing roots here in Augusta, Georgia. And it couldn't be better because I don't have to deal with the snow, the ice. I just got to deal with maybe 30-degree temperatures every once in a while.
Or hurricanes and the insane humidity. Okay.
There's actually humidity.
We're 3 hours inland. So the hurricanes are like
–
strong gusts of winds when they come through, but that's about it.
So you don't get the Savannah humidity either?
Yeah, we get humidity for about a week in the spring, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's that stuff that punches you right in the mouth.
Yeah. Does everybody talk like Foghorn Leghorn down there? I mean, I feel like they would.
No,
I'll say more.
We're no, Savannah got to talk with the long drawl. It's a little
Long
like
drawl.
calm. As the guy at the office says, Andy says, you got to smell like caramel falling out your mouth.
Yeah. Right, you got some butterscotch stuck on the roof of your mouth.
Go watch the movie Legend of Bagger Vance with Will Smith and bam, you'll get the accent.
Nice.
Good reference.
Yeah.
That is a good reference.
Well, cool. Well, movie references aside, that's a whole other show probably.
I can dive into movies too. I'm a movie buff as well.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, we got him on this channel too.
Yeah.
But also I'm talking about channels though. I mean, what channel do you represent?
I am in an awesome spot with Famous Talk Sports Network underneath Bobby Melendez. He runs a great ship over there. I've been taking time off recently. I still do draft work with him and NFL analyst stuff, but he knew I was having the baby. I'm starting to get back into it and trying to get the show fired back up on there. But yeah, Bobby runs a great ship over there. They cover a lot of Dolphin stuff, but they have wrestling shows, they have Heat shows, they have baseball shows for the Marlins, but they also cover the MLB. They got hockey shows. They got a bunch of stuff over there. So if anybody hasn't checked them out, they cover a lot of different stuff, a lot of great personalities on that network. And I'm just glad to be a part of it. I'm like the one piece of cheese stuck in a whole like Isle of Tuna Kissed over there, though.
All right.
Yeah.
So you've dealt with Finn Stanza, huh?
Oh, I love Fitzstanza. So we call him George from Seinfeld because he looks just like him. But I call it, because he hates it, I call him Newman from Seinfeld because Newman's the little evil character on there.
Right.
So I'm always like Newman, and he hates it. He's like, I'm George. Yeah, me and him go at him for fun though. We just nothing serious, but he's quite a character. I always pick on the Canadians, so especially since I grew up in upstate New York, kind of have to pick on the Canadians every once in a while.
Does he ever say, "We got Dotson over here, Dotson"?
Yeah. No, he probably
he's done it. He knows all George references.
There we go. But yeah, man, awesome. Well, thank you so much for jumping on with us. Actually, probably raising our football IQ a little bit as far as the show.
As they say, I'm a jag. I don't know crap. I'm just a guy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let's
you're
go
a
ahead.
Packer, not a Jaguar, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. The 2024 draft recap. Of course, I mean, we're not going to go, one for one, but definitely starting off. This was a huge surprise. Caleb Williams, ladies and gentlemen, went number one. Shocker. Yeah, large gasp. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm interested to see how the Chicago fans accept it. I mean, because they were chanting Fields at the end of the season, so I don't know, maybe a little backlash. Because I mean, for me as a Chiefs fan, I know that we had big issues with Elvis Gerbach and Rich Gannon. Everybody wanted Rich Gannon. They kept Gerbach around, and it kind of ruined a little bit of the luster or love we had for the Chiefs. So, so for the first pick, do you guys see any problems, or do you think everything's gonna be hunky dory?
Compared to the rest of the QBs in this draft, you have to take Caleb Williams because the rest of the QBs fall off significantly. I don't really like the QBs in this draft. I don't like, and if you think this one's not that great, next year's draft doesn't look that great as for QBs. Actually, the year before this, the QBs weren't you didn't have the Caleb Williams.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have the QBs Washington just took from LSU.
Jaden Daniels.
Thank you. You didn't have the Jaden Daniels. You didn't have that dynamic athlete that you could see something. Now but he has a bunch of issues in his own. Drake May actually looked better last year than he did this year going into the draft. And then JJ McCarthy is the best game manager that I've seen in quite some time. So I understand why he went to the Vikings, which I kind of made the joke of. They took away Kirk Cousins for Kirk Cousins' cousin, basically, is kind of what I feel like JJ McCarthy is.
Dude, it's Baskin Robbins. All they did was just switch out the vanilla tub. That's
right. Yeah, this is basically what they did. But I just see Caleb Williams is one of those. It's not a can't miss because you really don't know until you line him up. And like the CJ Stroud, he doesn't take tests well. Then you listen to him on some shows during the draft, and when he talked about Xavier Legette and stuff like that. Like, you can understand why he's successful and why he's going to be successful. Caleb Williams has all the tools that you can see, but you also can understand, I got question marks about him based on how he approached the draft. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that's going to translate because he's already coming in with the attitude you really don't like.
Attitude is exactly what I was going to say. I mean, honestly, it feels like reminiscent of Johnny Manziel. Put up high on a pedestal. Everybody, quoting him as Johnny Football, or he's like the next Pat Mahomes, he's the new football god. But I mean, he played with us in Oklahoma. I'm an Oklahoma fan, Sooner. I mean, he's a good player, but at the same time, whenever there are, rumors of them wanting, part ownership and that basically like their best thing coming. I mean, you want to have a little bit of ego like you see with Stroud, but a little bit too much can kind of tilt you the other way. Dave, what do you think, brother, on Caleb Williams?
God, y'all got me out here defending a freaking Bears quarterback now. Okay, so I'm going to go to another angle. So I see with the attitude thing where you guys are coming from, but I look at that actually as a plus, because who was the last quarterback for the Bears to come out with a little bit of a bad attitude and go to his own drumbeat?
Jim Harbaugh?
Jim McMahon.
Harbaugh was crazy too,
but McMahon was called the punky QB in Chicago for a reason, because he went against the grain. And that's a guy Caleb can be for Chicago. I love Caleb's all-around talent. He can throw off any platform. I love his athletics. The one knock I have against Caleb is he will not succeed in the pros if he can't get rid of this. In college, when he makes a mistake, a fumble, an interception, it snowballs. It does not get back on track. In the NFL, those snowballs turn to snowmen. Those snowmen turn to big old ugly snow monsters, and you are done before you know it by the first quarter. Yep. So
and you're crying to your mom at the end of the game.
Bingo. But hey, I got a couple draft picks for the Packers that cried with their mama when they got picked. So to me, it tells me they love the game. But at the same time, I can see where you're coming from. But I guess that's just me. See, you got me defending a Bears quarterback. Stop it.
We set him up perfectly. Good job, Tvshka.
But I can take a step back as a Green Bay fan and look at it from the NFL analyst standpoint. And I appreciate Caleb, what he is as a prospect, and he's a very damn good quarterback. But he's got to shake off those mistakes and be able to have the water off your back mentality. Like Andrew Luck, we used to watch him how many times throw an interception two in the first quarter. He'll come back 2 touchdowns down, rally the troops, and in the next quarter, and he'd be ahead by 3 touchdowns going into half because he had that water off the back mentality. Patrick Mahomes has it. The other quarterback I can say who's like Caleb is Dak. Once Dak starts making mistakes, they keep coming. That's the only really knock I have against Caleb. I don't mind his attitude. I like his punkish attitude where he's going against the grain, because normally quarterbacks are up there in a suit and I don't know. I feel like they're just kind of doing the whole yes man approach. I like Caleb's little out of the box style, I guess, so to speak. So, and I appreciate that as an NFL analyst. I hate it as a Packers fan because Caleb's a good player.
Yeah.
Now the question is, are the Bears going to ruin him like they did Fields, like they did Trubisky? I'm not saying they were going to be successful, but the Bears are a known track record for destroying QBs.
Yep.
So I think they can do well with Caleb if George McCaskey, the old cruddy owner, keeps his nose out of it. If he starts making decisions and getting in that executive room, it's not going to go good.
So are you saying that the Bears are the Cleveland Browns of the NFC North?
I could say they could turn it around.
Yeah.
I could say they could turn around like Cleveland, but it's going to take a little more time because you still add all those new pieces in. No, if there's a Cleveland Browns in the NFC North, see, it was the Lions up until they started turning things around. But now I'm going to say the Vikings because I can't stand their GM. I don't think J.J. McCarthy was worth it to trade up for all those picks. I don't think Dallas Turner was worth it to trade up for all those picks. They had 4 picks, I think, to end the draft with. 4. Like, it just – and then they traded back once to get, like, 4 sevenths. I just don't like what they did, especially for getting rid of Kirk Cousins. Now you put – see, this is where I have a problem with J.J. McCarthy. I didn't mean to jump ship on this in different subject, guys. I just want
you're fine. You're fine.
So J.J. McCarthy, the way I view it, he was gifted one of the best offensive lines, if not the best, in college football last year. He had a record-setting running back for Michigan's football history of touchdowns. He had one of, if not the best, defense in college football last year. And he had at least above-average weapons as wide receivers, guys like Roman Wilson working with him, who got drafted along this year. So now you give him to Minnesota. Yeah, he has Justin Jefferson, but we're hearing rumors he might want out. He hasn't signed a contract extension. Jordan Addison's the next guy up. He's only a second-year player. TJ Hawkinson is leftover injury prone from Detroit, and he's getting hurt every other game. Aaron Jones is going to try to have a vendetta year. There's no offensive line. Well, I just feel like the situation you're going to put him in, if you got to manage a game as a quarterback, how are you going to do that with no offensive line?
Who's their running back now? Because I know
Aaron Jones.
Okay.
Yeah. He went and signed a deal immediately
right.
with Minnesota because Green Bay cut him, and he wants to try and prove us wrong. He'll probably have a 100-yard game, and then he'll be happy and move on somewhere else.
At this point, I'll take Josh Jacobs over Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I was going to say, and Josh Jacobs moving over there. I mean,
the
just
age,
carousel.
The age, the less wear and tear. Mm-hmm. He's less often injured than Aaron Jones. First of all, I love Jones. The guy is bred to be a Packer from birth, the way he's acted, his morals.
The chain with his dad's ashes.
The whole thing why he was let go, to me, wasn't even on him. It was his agent. His agent is Drew Rosenhaus. I hate him. I hate Drew Rosenhaus. He is one of the biggest pain in the asses for NFL teams and GMs trying to get deals done. And I get it. He wants to get his bag for his players.
Yep.
But
Tyreek Hill.
He didn't come in and do a countermeasure after the Packers made an offer to him. And he said, no, we're not going to take that deal. And didn't say he wanted to receive another offer, nothing, no counter. And just so good. The Packers thought, hey, all right, apparently he's not going to take a cheaper deal or try at least counter. All right, we'll have to cut him. That was on Drew Rosenhaus. I can't stand that little conniving son of a bitch. Yeah. So the Vikings, that's what my thing is.
On Drew Rosenhaus. He took Tyreek Hill from us down to Miami, and we also lost Tommy Townsend. But like you said, he does a good job of getting people their bag, and they're definitely going to get it. Who's not going to get bags this year are rookies because of the rookie deals. But kind of jumping back to the Bears, right? So you have Caleb Williams went number 1, but number 9, actually a wide receiver, Roma Dunze. So. Does that sweeten the pot as far as, for Caleb Williams, or is it still just add more question marks to it?
I feel like they missed, to me, you build from the trenches inside out. You go ahead, get your line set, make sure your franchise quarterback who you just drafted is set. I love Roma Dunze. He is an excellent wide receiver coming out of this class. This wide receiver class was awesome. Yeah. But there's Olu Fashanu, who is sitting right there for the taking, and you don't take him, or say if I heard teams wanted to trade up. They didn't want to trade back. They could have bolstered their draft picks way more by moving back 10 picks in the first round, getting extra seconds and thirds. And I feel like that's the one miss on this draft class that Poles didn't do. I feel like he could have still got a wide receiver like Brian Thomas Jr., who's a heck of a receiver at LSU, that paired up with, especially for being a wide receiver 3 behind Keenan Allen and DJ Moore. I really think that could have worked out, and they could have got extra picks to help build the offensive line for Caleb to make sure we're not going to see the same thing as Justin Fields running around with a chicken with his head cut off because he can't get 2 seconds.
And it's an old adage that the last member you get for a team, or especially an offense, is the wide receiver. Like you don't, because there's so much ego and just pride within that, because of that position for some reason. It's like cornerbacks on the opposite side.
It's a premier position. That's what it is.
Yeah. But it's like you don't get that first, because that's the freaking cart. You got to get the horses, which are the front line for sure.
It's the old what was it from Varsity Blues? It's like you control the clock, you control the ball, and all that. All that whole
tempo,
thing. Is it boring? Hell yeah! But Shanahan gets to the Super Bowl like every other year, it seems like. And you know what he does? He establishes the run. And then he goes away from Brock Purdy doesn't have to win you games because of his system.
Well, not just Kyle. His daddy established that with Terrell Davis back in the 90s with the Broncos. So
and he had Elway.
Yeah. So, and as a Chiefs fan, it's sweet redemption, because we got murdered by Elway all the time. But Josh, I take it back to you, man. So, come back in. But Josh, so for the draft itself overall, what's a couple of surprises that you kind of saw that not necessarily head scratching, but surprises as in like kind of exciting or just intriguing?
Was the fact that the Bears didn't really screw up. according to the pundits,
Right.
they did everything you were expecting them to do. Now, I agree with Dave. You got to win from the trenches, and he was sitting right there. But everyone knew going into this draft, they were going to get Caleb. And going into the draft, the way they were building the team up with the receivers and stuff that they had, with their picks and everything, he was going to make sure that unless their offensive line was just a bunch of sheets that people were running through, that he was going to basically say that I'm giving no excuse to Caleb Williams. I'm giving no excuse to Eberflus. Because they kept him, they retained him. They could have. Harbaugh wanted to be there, so basically he was like, all right, well, I'm getting Caleb, trading away Justin for a washing machine. Basically, it was like a 4th round pick or something like that. And which I was like hoping they would get like at least a 2nd for him or something. But anyway, and then they go and they surround him with Keenan Allen, who when he plays, he's still one of the best route runners, if not the best pure route runner in the game, to me. And then you also have DJ Moore, you have the burner, then Adunze, who's your quick slot receiver, which as we watched with the rookie that played at Baltimore last year from Boston College, Dave, help me out with that name.
Zay Flowers.
Thank you. Is that you can have that top 10 pick but as long as you have established receivers, when Odell and Bateman were all healthy, that system can finally work, where your quarterback that has throwing issues, which I'm a big Lamar supporter, that he's allowed to actually throw the ball if he needs to. And so basically it's like, all right, you surround him with weapons, and then you have a decent run game. Obviously you still need that, but I think it's more of making the fans happy and also putting pressure on Eberflus of like, all right, man, you have no excuse. I think it's more pressure on Eberflus that they're doing because they couldn't go out and get Harbaugh, because as you see with Harbaugh and the Chargers, he's going back to like 1980s, run the ball, throw the ball every 7 days type of thing that people were thinking, kind of how he did with Michigan. But guess what? What does Harbaugh do? He wins. That's what he does. Everywhere he goes, he wins. He took Stanford and made them relevant, and then went on to have successful careers everywhere he's been. So every time people's like, what is Harbaugh doing? I don't know. He's probably going to win. So this is more on Eberflus being like, look, we really didn't want you here. We kept you out of necessity. We're giving you Caleb Williams. We're giving you Keenan Allen. I did my job. Now do yours. That's the way I picture it.
I think Eberflus is going to get fired. I think he's not a head coach guy, and I don't know. You feel it when people meant to be head coaches, and he just does not feel. He's like a Vic Fangio. It felt weird watching Vic Fangio be a head coach for the Broncos. He is a defensive coordinator in the NFL. That's what he's good at. Don't try and push it. That's what Eberflus is. He's going to be that for the Bears.
Todd Bowles the same way.
Well, I mean, not to. Well, before we switch gears, Dave, a couple of surprises in the draft that you had.
Well, everyone wants to talk about surprises in the draft, and I know the obvious
not the big head scratcher. We'll get to that one.
Yeah. I was going to point him out. Biggest surprises. I'm actually going to go with my Packers. They didn't just redo one position; they did two of them. And on the defensive side of the ball, new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley comes in from Boston College head coach position, running a 4-3 now up there. One of my favorite picks of the draft was Edgerrin Cooper, the top linebacker on the board for me. And when I saw the Packers go in the second round and they traded back, and I'm like, oh God, they're gonna mess up crap. And because Dallas, I believe, was right ahead of them, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because after they traded back, and I'm like, because I knew y'all needed a linebacker. Leighton Vander Esch was out, and I'm like, we just traded back, and they're gonna take him. When y'all passed, I'm like, what? I'm like,
Jerry likes to reach and smell his own farts.
Jerry puts too much salt on his McGriddles, like I saw on the show, the Hard Knocks. Bro, when he poured like a half a gallon of salt, I'm like, Jerry's brain is melting right now.
Yeah,
he's trying
his heart
himself.
specialist or blood pressure is definitely helping.
What's the evil guy in the cartoon show? I can't remember when we were younger. It was
Mr.
the
Burns?
one guy. No, it was the one guy that he kept himself in a jar and a brain, but he was alive with his head. And he preserved himself because he put himself like a bunch of salt and sodium in it. And I can't remember it, but he had metal legs that would crawl around with a head attached to it.
I mean, it's not the Richard Nixon from Futurama. I know that.
It's not. It's not Krang or whatever from.
It's gonna hit me after I get on.
Yeah, it's not Krang from Ninja Turtles.
It's gonna hit me after I get off
Claw
the show.
from Inspector Gadget. We just want to go and just name random people from the 90s and 80s.
So, but you guys get what I'm saying. I feel like Jerry's trying to preserve himself so he can still run the team when he's like 130.
Yeah, he's like the head of Nixon in Futurama, basically.
Yeah, right.
And
he's probably on the shelf somewhere there.
So no, actually, a couple of surprises. Giants not taking a QB. Daniel Jones is clearly not that guy, and not just once. They passed on Spencer Rattler 4 other rounds. Michael Pratt was sitting there. Green Bay drafted him in the 7th round. He was there the entire draft. You're telling me you believe that much in Dan? He's not Danny Dimes anymore. He's Danny Nichols because he's shortchanged everyone.
Yeah.
I still can't believe they didn't take anybody.
Right, and Dave, I'll ask you this because me and Bobby kind of talked, and I know Finn's just said what's up, fellas, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, and I know he just jumped on, then his wife probably yelled at him, so he had to go back. But anyway, the Joe Milton. Let me bring up Joe Milton real quick, okay?
The old shotgun.
The dude's like sunshine from Remember the Titans. He can throw it a mile, but he can't make a two-yard pitch. Pitch. Or when he does, he throws at the same velocity that he does a 70-yard bomb. He's just not. He throws. He's like Cam Newton when he got after his shoulder got injured. He's not accurate. He throws it up 70 miles into the dirt, and he goes to the Patriots. And it's kind of funny because Dave Portnoy was talking shit about Joe Milton when he was at Tennessee. Yeah, but anyway, it's always hilarious when finally just him like turn like doing 180 because now he's a Patriot.
That's what he does.
Yeah. But anyway, your opinion of Joe Milton, because him and Spencer Rattler are like, I can see Spencer Rattler succeeding. Mm-hmm. I cannot see Joe Milton succeeding, even though he's built he's built amazingly. He's got athleticism. He can throw it a mile, but he's just not accurate.
If you can find a head coach in the NFL that will run like a spread type formation in the NFL, which is a rarity, he can succeed, but it's like I said, it's a rarity. They don't run that much in the NFL for that. Milton, I've always loved watching him at Tennessee. Even after he got hurt, he was still a fun prospect to watch. But yeah, it's going to take a very specific fit for him to succeed. He might just become like a wildcat option for those types because he's also a big athletic QB. It's not like he's just this mid-sized QB that can throw far. He's a big built QB. So he can be able to carry the ball if they do any type of those trick plays or stuff like that. Maybe he can keep himself on as a special teamer, maybe trying to look at different positions like Tebow did. But Spencer Rattler, I live in SEC country. I watched that man sling the rock with no offensive line. And he was dropping dimes, getting buried in the dirt, play after play. Spencer Rattler, I feel like, can definitely be the guy, and if he gets all the tools together. Because I remember watching him at Oklahoma. He was an immature kid. You can still see it.
Yeah.
When he got to South Carolina, someone humbled it because you can see the mentality, the way his speech changed.
Well, he got humbled in Oklahoma.
Well,
because who did he get benched for?
Caleb.
Exactly. Yeah, he had that same issue where he'd throw an interception or fumble, it'd get in his head, and he'd just spiral downwards. And so, yeah.
But I'm talking to South Carolina, his first year there, he was still having those same type of mistakes. And then that someone spoke to, I don't know what it was, who it was that got to him for that final year of South Carolina football, but it was a completely different quarterback. And he was on the right track now. He just has to put those tools together, and he can be a successful NFL quarterback. I really do like Rattler. I always say I'm a Rattler whore. I've always liked the kid.
I like the tools. It's all about up here with Rattler. Yeah. If Rattler can just get this right, which is a very hard thing sometimes to do, it's easier said than done.
Let the water off your back, man.
But it's just basically kind of what you're alluding to with the snowball. I'm going to pull another movie reference. As we said, we're movie buffs. The Shane Falco quicksand.
Oh yeah,
kind of thing.
Gene Hackman, baby.
Yeah. So it's a quicksand. It's like the biggest fear. It's quicksand.
Gene Hackman, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Quicksand speech. Yeah, that's an underrated movie that no one talks about. Anyway,
placements is amazing.
Placements awesome. But yeah, that's the thing with those late round quarterbacks that were taken.
Like Tom Brady in 199.
Yeah. But it's just that's always those like the new thing is just like it's like of the defensive players of the trenches. I would say this of the trenches, and we'll go trenches defense because they're not sexy picks. No one's going to really talk about them.
Everyone wants the flashy picks, but the non-flashy picks help build football teams.
But and I'm kind of with you, and I told Bobby that when Dallas was supposed to draft, I knew Jared's like, oh, here's my guy. We got Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, and they were like, no, we're getting Zach Martin. Shut up, sit down. We're taking him. And
wasn't it Travis Frederick, not Zach Martin?
No, it was Zach Martin.
I thought y'all took the
Travis Frederick was the year before.
Okay, gotcha.
Zach Martin was that Johnny Manziel year. Trust me.
Okay.
When we took Zach Martin, I was like, we took someone actually competent.
Well, I read up on that. You know who sat him down? It was his son. Stephen Jones said, we are not taking him. We're taking an all-pro guard, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer probably at the end of his career. We're taking him.
Yes.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I mean, he had enough trouble in Cleveland. I mean, he would have.
Did you watch the Netflix series
whenever he was in Dallas?
When I died laughing when the agent told the story of saying oh man, he hasn't touched the playbook. No, he's got to read some of it. He goes, no, we track it on the tablet. He's read 0 minutes. Yeah. I was like, does this kid really think it's just a party? Nonstop?
Yeah. Who are you, Kyler Murray? Come on, bud.
The best one was
Kyler
Marcus Russell.
Needs extra study time, okay?
Yeah.
Well, no,
he just needs to get off Madden.
He's studying COD maps right now. That's what he's doing.
Call of Duty,
but no, Jamarcus Russell was the best one where the coach gives him a DVD to here, go home, look at these plays, see, and when you come back the next day, let me know which ones you like, and we'll run it in practice. They come back, and coach is like, which one you like? He goes, I like all of them, coach. They're great. I like all of them. He goes, did you like one? Did you like four? Like, which one? I like all of them. The DVD was blank.
Yeah. He didn't open it. I know.
He didn't open it.
Dude.
He got $50 million. Jamarcus Russell and Sam from your boy from Oklahoma, after those rookie contracts, their next deal was like, no, these guys are not, because the owners basically were like, we're not paying rookies this much.
He is now a pizza delivery driver.
Wow.
He has lost all the money. He lost all the money that he got from the Raiders. It's all gone.
Vince Young.
That's sad, man. Vince Young, god dang, dude. Yeah, that's another sad one. But you know what's not sad?
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, it's sad for some people. My surprise is the Bills. They traded back, then they traded back again. They needed a wide receiver. But I mean, I'm also surprised the Chiefs traded up to get Xavier Worthy because
Tyreek 2.0.
It's a cheap Tyreek. Cheaper Tyreek.
Right. But at the same time, man, I mean, you had Ricky Pearsall.
White boy Rick. That's what I call him.
Dude, white boy Rick. Slick Rick. I mean, he's got some impressive tape. I mean, for him to go to the 49ers kind of really hurts me because they've got so many weapons there. We talk about Mr. Irrelevant. The guy himself is doing a phenomenal job there. But then the big one. And I had a better segue earlier, but I wanted everybody else to have their piece.
I know I didn't want to mention it.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, because we're talking about people that do not belong as head coaches. Arthur Smith might be one of those guys. He may only be, a coordinator, but the Atlanta Falcons.
He's out. He's out.
He's
as
not
the coach,
there anymore.
right?
He's a Steelers offensive.
It's Raheem Morris.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
That's what I was like.
Some people are better as coordinators, and that's what he is right now.
He's a weird. If you ever watch his interviews on Pat McAfee show, he's a weird dude.
His brother in the background.
Okay.
At the bar or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like who was the ex-head coach, Mike Vrabel? Remember during drafting when they had the COVID and his son was standing back in a full spandex outfit? I'm like, what is going on? And then Bill Belichick had his dog in the draft seat and he wasn't even anywhere in the room. And I'm like,
yeah.
I love Rapes. I take him as my coach yesterday.
The COVID years were great.
Awesome.
But going back to it, Atlanta.
Yeah, sorry to transition on.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You guys can just shit all over those segues. That's what we do at the fantasy fuck round, though. But
I do it all the time to them. Pisses them off.
Seriously, what the fuck is up with Atlanta? Are they trying to not win? Are they just wasting money? Are they wasting time? Are they wasting talent? Josh, what do you got, bud?
All right. So, hats off to these analysts that get paid to go on TV and spin this because they have to. You had Dan Orlovsky go on there, try and spin it. I forget who on NFL. He was
Many
on part of my
articles.
take. He was on there. They're earning their paychecks on spinning on how this made sense.
Yep.
Okay, so
I can offer a take if you want to hear it.
well, let me give my
Yeah.
2 cents and I'll let you know because I'll let you're going to go a lot longer. Okay, because your brain's bigger than mine as far as
It is not. It's just a hollow shell, man.
Yeah, what was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference?
Yeah.
Still not ripe yet.
God,
Anyway,
we're old.
yeah. So anyway, you try and like defend it, right? You're trying to put your mind into their mind. All right. So for the Packers, they traded up, which Atlanta really didn't trade up. The pick was already there, but they traded up and took Jordan Love, and everyone's like, "Well, you already got Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff." It was already rocky, and you can tell Aaron was on his way out, right? You didn't just sign Aaron for $180 million.
Yeah.
You also didn't draft a QB that was 24 years old. Jordan Love was what, 20?
21.
21.
Yeah, 21.
So it wasn't. That's a different scenario. Most of the time, when you see them drafting quarterbacks, and you're like, "Well, you already have an established," or you sit them by the time, for the amount of money that they paid to get Kirk Cousins, even though he tore his foot off with his Achilles, and he's 36 years old. Are you over? This is the most, like, us that do fantasy football, we overthink a lot. Okay, we sit there and look at it, and then it's like Alan from The Hangover, where the numbers start calculating way too much in our head, and we overthink it and then reach for somebody. Yeah. This was Atlanta in a nutshell. But Arthur Blank literally went to him, and you can just tell, like, he's like trying to like dissect it or whatnot. And Arthur Blank's like, "So who did I pay $180 million to again? And you just drafted this guy who's had 700 knee surgeries? Nothing against Michael Penix. He throws a beautiful ball. And he would be at that point as a QB that I would draft. But not when you just paid $180 million. I don't like get a lineman, get a DB who you need, and you didn't even draft. You didn't even draft a DB. Yeah. You even throw a dart.
Yeah, get a lineman to protect the money that you already invested.
Yeah.
Get a late round like a Rattler or somebody else. But,
this is basically telling me that Arthur Blank has no control over his GM because I don't know what happened where he just saying like, all right, pay $100 million, just get Kirk Cousins because we're probably always going to be good for like 3 games, and then we can just throw our 24-year-old 7-knee quarterback into the fray. Like it's not just the fact of you just paid this guy a bunch of money who is on his way out. I get it. But you went and I would rather them just get JJ McCarthy at that point. If you're going to draft a quarterback, get one that's at least healthy or has a track record of staying healthy
and cheap,
a little bit younger. So that's the whole thing. Is I think Penix definitely is a better quarterback, but not in the situation that you just set yourself up for. Make it make sense.
Yeah, well, I can't make sense of it. Dave, can you make sense?
Yeah, I'll play a little bit of devil's advocate again.
We like putting you in these precarious situations.
That's fine. I don't mind that. I do the same thing I do with my kids too, and explain scenarios, and they're like, "What?" I think, because see, they tried to model after the Green Bay thing. You mentioned the Jordan Love, but who was the quarterback they took before that? They didn't trade up for that fell to them. Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. They did the same thing. It wasn't as old as Penix, but he had issues around him with his off-field attitude, supposedly, and that's why he fell. Now, it's another issue off the field where injuries may be the same thing for Penix, but I respect it because I guess watching it happen twice, finally a team – see, this is the thing. Mm-hmm. I've watched teams ignore on what Green Bay does on how to go after QBs, draft them, develop them, be patient with them.
Yep.
This is where I can't grade the Penix pick until 2 to 3 years from now, because you can't I know we're having immediate reactions, but it's the same thing. I couldn't grade the Jordan Love pick until 3 years out, and when he was still sitting for his third year, I'm like, okay, we got to see something. We got to see him start. Aaron's got to go. Finally, that 4th year last year, he figured it out by mid-season and he took off. We got to see something from Penix in a couple years from now. We can't just say it's a bad pick by Atlanta, because what's the best time to draft a QB? is when you don't need one. Because when you need one,
Mm-hmm.
you might
You're gonna be desperate.
Exactly. Then you got to draft guys like Johnny Manziel. So that's the type of moves you make.
Or sign an even more ridiculous contract to Deshaun Watson.
And
For
that's
raping people.
right.
Yeah.
Allegedly, guys.
Allegedly.
No, this is where I said this. Okay, another side little thing. So they basically came to a settlement there. He didn't said he was guilty or not guilty. They just left it. That was it. There was no decision on it. And so he wasn't guilty or not guilty. And then if someone's not guilty, why did you have to go take sexual assault classes?
Yeah, or paid money to them.
Yeah. Why? Why would you need to do that if you didn't do it?
Yeah. Well, what's the Hamilton? No one else was in the room when it happened. The room when it happened.
So back to Phoenix. Yeah. I actually like the move. Being a Green Bay fan, I've lived through it twice. I've lived through the Favre to Rodgers. I've lived through the Rodgers to Love. Mm-hmm. Both of them got nasty at certain points of it, but the Favre one was more nastier. And all I'm going to say is I kind of like it because now there's an insurance policy behind Kirk that just tore his Achilles. We don't know if he's going to be ready for week 1. Yep. So Michael Penix can get some playing time coming in and getting snaps. So there could be a hidden benefit in here. There could be the fact that, say, if Kirk is ready by then, he gets to sit and learn. If Kirk doesn't want to teach him, he's still going to try and develop underneath the coaching staff. I just think that Penix I like his talent. I think he was one of the more hidden gem quarterbacks, and people were always trying to say, "Oh, it's me."
Beautiful, accurate ball. Oh
yeah, that's God. The thing. When you watch him throw on the run, he's right there with Caleb Williams. He has the athletic traits. So when people say, "Oh, he's got the knee injuries," so did Frank Gore, and the guy is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Frank Gore is a freaking amazing running back, and he tore both of his ACLs. Yep. So
and one hell of a model American too.
Yes, and I can't. Nice reference. And I can't. Damn you! Freaking threw me off. All right, sorry. I can't see the knee injury stopping him because of his drive. If you're telling me a guy had 3-4 major surgeries and knee injuries, and he still got drafted 8th overall to show you where he was as an NFL player, that to me shows he's ready as a leader, for 1, 2, to show by example, and 3, to be able to have that fight in him, that grit, to be able to carry on and show how much he loves this game. So I like it to a point with that. But yes, there is major risk involved because Arthur Blank's reputation is on the line. He gave full go to his GM. So now he's got to try and back his GM without trying to choose the wrong words. Now, Terry Fontenot, he went from his seat to being nice and cool because he signed Kirk, got Darnell Mooney, got Rondale Moore, still had a nice defense from last year, still had a decent offensive line.
Got Bijan Robbins.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got all those weapons. You added on those weapons on top of it. Pitts, Drake London,
yeah.
Tyler Algier is running back too. You got all those weapons. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying he added those on top of Kirk with the defense and the offensive line. But to me, they did pick Penix to secure their future. There's not teams that do it outside of Green Bay. To see one do it, I appreciate it. So that's where the devil's advocate comes in.
And who was the guy on NFL Today? Oh, my gosh. Kurt Traeger?
Pete Traeger?
Pete Traeger. So he actually, like, Orlovsky was doing his Orlovsky thing of spinning things and sounding intelligent, but then basically a bunch of word vomit came out of his mouth. But
Dan's about as good as running back out of end zones as he is NFL takes.
Yeah, exactly. But I still like him on Pat McAfee because Pat just like gives him shit the whole time. So that's hilarious when he's on there. But he has humility. Anytime you run out of the back of the end zone as an NFL quarterback,
he empowers it. He loves it.
Yeah. But anyway, but Traeger had a really good point of that if Kirk Cousins does what he's supposed to do, they're going to win now. They're going to be in the back of the draft. You're not going to be at this point
and have access to a top
access to a Penix type of quarterback unless you give a Rams thing of giving all your draft picks away. And then basically
what about the Ricky Williams, the old Mike Ditka trade all your whole class picks,
or the Herschel Walker.
Ooh,
that's what made the Cowboys the '90s.
Yeah. Man. Also the Tyreek Hill trade.
Yes,
that helped out pretty well for our draft.
So. Yeah, they gave everything. They gave the Cowboys everything for Herschel Walker. And everyone still uses that Jimmy Johnson model.
Well, don't say Herschel Walker's named out here in Georgia. They don't shut up about him.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. It's a different podcast.
Yeah. Now he's in politics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
They will him out there, and he gives a thumbs up. Anyway.
Yeah, but Dave, to your point though, talking about his health, what better way to recover, get ready for the NFL, and kind of build up strength and stamina than to sit on the bench and learn from Kirk Cousins, right? Because I know seeing
Kirk's a
Patrick
rehab
Mahomes,
warrior. That dude will take care of his body. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. Because thinking of Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes sat for 1 year. Definitely not the case because Penix, Giggity, by the way, I can't wait to say Giggity every time we say his name. He may have to sit on the bench for 2 or 3 years. We'll see. But at the same time, I think that 1 year was probably one of the most crucial years for Patrick Mahomes.
Bingo.
Was him sitting out, not feeling the pressure of having to be the hero, learning from Alex, who was actually a really good quarterback. He just was just always in precarious situations. I know I used that twice today, but he's just in bad situations. But you also talk about like tenacity and coming back. He's the comeback player of the century with what happened with him.
His leg was gnarly, man.
God, I can't watch that video. I get queasy with it. But
him and Jim and
yeah.
Theismann.
Anyways, but yeah, him and Theismann. But it's just I think that's one of the testaments to it. And you always see these rookie quarterbacks get thrown in these situations where they've got to be the savior, and it never works out. I mean, like you had Baker Mayfield go into there; he had to be the savior. And then, I mean, as an Oklahoma guy, I love Baker Mayfield, but now he's in a better situation. He got humbled. I mean, if he went into a better system to where he actually had time to just maybe, kind of mellow out, get acclimated to the NFL.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, definitely.
The guy did take the Browns to the playoffs and win a playoff game for the first time in how many years? Yes. And to me, he got shafted for Deshaun Watson because Jimmy Haslam, the owner, wanted the big flashy QB when Baker was the guy everyone respected in the locker room. Sorry, I'll get up.
No, you're
wrong reasons is flashy, but yes.
Yeah, thank you. There we go. I was going to pick that one up off the ground.
I just don't like to agree.
That's what she said.
I just don't like to agree with Skip Bayless on that. That's the only thing. That's the only reason I don't say yes. That's Skip.
You and Skip look alike, Josh. I'm just saying.
Don't do that. Don't do that. All right.
Okay, easy. This may be the fuck around, but we're not insulting people here, guys.
I wouldn't insult. Skip's a billionaire. Freaking.
I wish I had Skip's wallet.
I was about to say
he's a billionaire.
I go on and just
he's
spew
a billionaire rat.
I go on air and spew. I go on live TV and spew hot air the whole time and get paid millions of dollars. Yeah. I would love that job.
He's basically a Splinter.
And just insult NFL players where you almost get your ass beat. Like, did you guys ever watch the skit about him and Shannon where Shannon had to restrain himself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put your glasses back on. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moments that were captured on video that you can just see that bubble.
Or he called Dak weak because of mental illness. It's like, really, bro?
Well, no, he told Shannon his career wasn't nothing because he didn't win as many rings as Tom Brady. He said his
no. Shannon was about to reach across the table.
Yeah. Yeah. What about Skip's career there? Anyways, we digress, folks. But yeah, so with Atlanta, I mean, any of these picks, we're gonna have to wait and see, right? Because CJ Stroud was definitely not the top mark that we saw, but the way he showed out once he got the ball and actually was the savior for the Texans, along with a lot of the other rookies, it was like, well, shit. Okay. I mean, that's the anomaly, like the way Green Bay does it, that's the traditional way. And that still works, just with the Chiefs, with Mahomes, sitting for a year, but I don't know. Maybe we're getting into this. I
feel like Mahomes would have been ready though in year one, though. That's just me.
He looked damn good in that game against Denver in December. But
CJ Stroud, Roethlisberger, as far as like rookie seasons that went the right.
Another rapist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. We're just it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. But don't gamble, guys. Don't gamble. Whatever you do, do not gamble. Sexual assault all you want, but don't gamble.
We don't care if you rape women, but
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I got to ask. Tvshka, I got to ask. Rashae Rice, the whole situation, how do you feel on it?
I actually drove on that pass where he wrecked. Yeah. So we actually had some people from the channel come and stay with me for the solar eclipse. And whenever I was in because I live in Southeast Oklahoma, so the nearest airport was Dallas. I actually drove there, and it kind of felt haunting. Dumb move as a kid. I mean, just to walk away. Maybe there was something else that was going on there where they didn't want to get tested, but also why do you leave that much jewelry. And actually driving by it, that's right next to where the SMU campus is. So, and right next to the SMU campus is like Dolce & Gabbana, freaking all the high end, and Highland Park, all the high end, luxury retail. So they literally probably did that right off the first exit onto the highway if they just bought jewelry. So dumb, stupid mistake, but he's going to pay for it. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was 3 or 4 games. They say it's multiple felonies. That's really just on paper. Those are going to get kind of mitigated, or they're going to get, kind of lowered to a certain extent. He probably won't have much jail time, if any. He'll just have to pay millions of dollars.
Probation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, and definitely get some.
No, that's not the same level. Henry killed somebody.
Yeah, yeah, and also his name is Rasheed Rice, not Rasheed Wallace, guys. So
I did say Rasheed Wallace. Come on now.
He liked it. Rasheed Wallace liked to hit people too, but it was on the basketball court. So.
Yeah, and in the stands.
Yeah,
one of the greatest games ever, man.
That's Meta World Peace. But I will say, as far as Henry Ruggs, as far as PR, Atlanta did have penis on one of Michael
they deleted the tweet.
Graphics. Yeah. They actually did that, and then the Raiders drafted somebody, and all they put was speed kills with the dust. I was like, bad choice of words. Like, read a room, guys.
Getting fired.
Yeah, but I will.
One person was quitting and was like, you know what, motherfuckers?
The Phoenix pick.
Right. Yeah. But I will give this to Atlanta. They definitely won the Key and Pill East West Shrine Bowl game because of Rook Orororo. That's dude. I love that name.
Rook Orororo.
Rook Orororo. Can you?
There you go.
I've obviously being a Louisville fan. I watch Clemson, and Dabo Swinney is annoying and cheesy as hell because he thanks God that
he's
God
a great value Jim Harbaugh. He really is.
Yeah, but. Can it like of the trenches really get into? I just want to get to that. It's like of the trenches, not the non-sexy picks, like the defense, offensive linemen. Who do you think really did what they needed to do?
So the Ruke Orohoro pick alone, right there. A lot of people don't appreciate those type of size and blends. He's about 300 pounds, 6'5", almost 6'6". He's kind of that. It's weird because you look way back about 8 to 10 years ago, Eric Armstead was drafted way high at that build, that speed. That's who his player comparison is Eric Armstead, because a lot of people feel Eric Armstead didn't live up to his hype, and DeForest Buckner was the real player there in San Francisco. But Ruke Orohoro has so much ceiling ability to just grow and become such a good player. If you want to talk about a team that isn't getting talked about enough for defensive line ads and defensive ends, Los Angeles Rams, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk.
That was a cool
video.
To
replace Aaron Donald. Yeah, when they did the call and then first got on the phone, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Bobby was drawn at the mouth about Braden Fisk.
Bobby couldn't shut up about him, and blame me. It was all the time. I love Bobby about it. And he was like, Braden Fisk, we can get Braden Fisk. I'm like, guys, he's not taking Braden Fisk. And they're like, why? I'm like, because he's not injured. That's all Miami takes is injured players. And Bobby's like, oh, you're right. I mean, it's true. It's not. It's not being mean,
the Rams had the Rams really had a really good draft. I mean, they really had a really good draft with Blake Corum,
first round pick in like 5 years.
Right. And Les Snead and Sean know what the hell they're doing.
Sean almost retired last year, and it's really sad to see coaches are thinking about retiring when they're in the 30s, low 40s. I'm like, man, really? You're going to retire for that? Like, I get it. You already won a Super Bowl. You've been to a couple of them, but you're going to retire from that? Like, what? Come on now. And it's just, I didn't want to see it happen again because we saw Brian Billick retire after he won with the Ravens. You saw Bill Cowher retire after he won with the Steelers. And it's just, they stuck around for a year or two couple after they won, but then they kind of left, and it just sucks. I hate seeing young coaches leave because they're the future of the league. And there's part of that group that's called the QB Collective. You got Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Zach Taylor in Cincy, Robert Saleh in the Jets. They all came up off that same coaching tree from Mike Shanahan. And Mike Shanahan. Yeah, they were all there. See, Tvshka knows, all that coaching tree, and they developed their own program called the QB Collective. And they go up and they groom quarterbacks who are in college. They come out from being seniors in high school and they groom them up. But there's certain ones they pick and they help try and groom. Mike McDaniel for the Dolphins is a part of it too. And it's just there's a lot of coaches in the NFL right now that are part of that collective group and they're part of that younger generation. You see the Shanahan tree just taking over everywhere.
It used to be the Holmgren tree, and now it's the Shanahan tree.
Holmgren tree, man, freaking it's Andy Reid's part of that right there.
Yeah. It's still going. It's still going.
John Gruden, Mariucci, like that was a tree.
If you want another defensive lineman, Michael Hall from Ohio State, that went to the Browns, that was an underrated pick. He was a guy I was hoping the Packers could snag if he kind of slipped from that second round to the third round area and maybe trade up, but no, he's a heck of a player.
I'm going to wait to ask you about the Green Bay draft because I thought they reached a little bit for some of their offensive linemen, but a lot of times you think, but, you know, we're all just a bunch of people sitting here watching football as armchair. You know, there's a reason we're sitting here on a fantasy fuck around and not actually fucking around in an office doing this for a living. I wish we could. That'd be cool.
So if you want me to get on the Packers draft, I can. It's up to you. I just was trying to.
Let's put a pin in that, guys, because I have been trying to make a transition.
I'm not the one that changed the agenda. Don't yell at me.
You did say, "Hey, can I go on this spill for a little bit?" But no. You know, you're talking about you know, coaching trees and everything of that nature. I mean, you also got the Parcell tree.
Yeah.
But that's the people of the old. We're talking about the new, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about rookies, right? We're talking about the draft.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about babies, man. These some fucking babies, man. Someone just had their 21st birthday, and that was Xavier Worthy. And how better of a 21st birthday than to be at the stadium on the field of the defending Super Bowl champions, 2-time Super Bowl champions, and have the crowd chant your name. Like, that's probably like one of the top 5 like all-time birthdays. But anyways, rookie class, what are we looking at? Like Xavier Worthy, 4.21, I believe, setting the
fastest
record, fastest 40 time, which is great, but could be problematic, right? It's gonna be like another Kadarius Toney, where he's too quick for his body and is just breaking his own ankles all the time. We'll see. Got Caleb Williams going out there.
Worthy's going to be good, man. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be
good.
I'm excited for him. I mean, we're going to be gadgets, but
he can run routes.
Catches the ball.
Yeah.
So smooth in transition. If you go watch Quinn Ewers when he was throwing that ball at Texas, and he would put it right over the breadbasket for him. Patrick's has even a bigger arm than Quinn Ewers, as we know, and that guy's going to breadbasket that catch all day long.
I know people don't like. I know Bobby hates comps, but Marquise Godwin, that's kind of. But he's better than Mark. He actually, he's like, Emmanuel. He's kind of like a route runner, like Emmanuel. But he's got the speed of Godwin.
You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. Let me finish setting this shit up.
All right.
You don't tell me how to live my life.
I don't want your life. No, but Xavier Williams, Caleb Williams, right? One I'm personally excited for. Talking about fantasy, Marvin Harris Jr., right? I mean, you got the pedigree of, Marvin Harrison. You got the youth. He's there. And I don't know, maybe a tumultuous, team with Kyler Murray and such. But I don't know. I'm excited for him for fantasy. Fantasy specifically, what are you looking for? I'm going to throw it to you, Josh, real quick.
All right. So running back wise, I'm looking. It's always running backs. When we start with fantasy, you always start with running backs because they're the value is few and far between, as we know. But when I look at, I'm wondering. I really like the Blake Corum pick, but how much is going to poach from Kyron Williams? That's kind of my thing there. I really like that Ray Davis going to Buffalo. He's a solid runner and it hurts me as a Louisville fan, but I really like that Ray Davis pick out of Kentucky. With that, I mean, Jonathan Brooks, if he didn't go anywhere but Carolina, I'd be all in. But he went to Carolina.
Yeah. They
have no one else, but there's a reason Christian McCaffrey was struggling at Carolina and then goes to an actual competent team and is good. Will Shipley, I don't know what to do. He was great and solid in college, but I don't know. One guy I'm going to say, because it's a homer, all right? Isaac Arendo that went to San Francisco. If you look at his tape, he was at Wisconsin. He transferred to Louisville. I saw him a lot last year, obviously, as a Louisville fan. He has like a 4.3 speed, and he shows it on the field. It translates. And also, he can take hits and keep moving. He's a good after contact runner. But you have Christian McCaffrey there. I just don't know. He might win over Elijah Mitchell. I doubt he will, but that's just someone to keep an eye on when it comes to running backs.
I mean, are you even picking up Elijah Mitchell? I mean, maybe if you're in a deep league, but
you just don't know. Christian McCaffrey typically gets hurt. He just didn't last year, and when he did, it was at the end of it and cost you a Super Bowl. But that's beside the point.
Yeah, but you're not drafting Elijah Mitchell. I mean, come on.
Well, maybe in the last round, just to the people that used to take up like security blankets for Elijah Mitchell. There's too much value out there at this point. If you're drafting Christian McCaffrey, you're sticking with Christian McCaffrey. There's no reason to waste a roster spot for Elijah Mitchell, at least these days, with the way the rosters, the way that with tight ends or flexes and stuff like that. It's just tough to do that. And they've come out and said in Miami they're going to use Jalen Wright. But you have Mostert, you have Achane, and then they're saying on the runs Jalen Wright. And I like Jalen Wright, but he's in that three-headed monster. But that's that system. They use more than one running back. You just happen to have Christian McCaffrey at San Francisco. That's typically not what Shanahan likes to do. He likes to have, my name is Jeff Wilson, and
he's got Debo. Which Debo didn't run too much last year, not as much as he did in 2022. But still a monster. Dave. I mean, what do you got on this one? I mean, Elijah Mitchell, fuck him, right?
No, so Kyle, you just named the Dolphins where you like Jalen Wright. Well, who did he come from? Kyle Shanahan, running back by committee. Yes, Christian McCaffrey is going to be the lead horse, but he's going to keep Mitchell there just as much as he's going to keep Garendo. Garendo's going to have to earn his keep on what he does for carries because Kyle switches it up. I mean, McCaffrey's going to get his touches, but 1 week you're going to have Mitchell getting 10 carries behind McCaffrey, and then 1 week you might get Garendo getting 10 carries. You never know with a Shanahan-type offense, just like Josh Jacobs. We also got Marshawn Lloyd as a rookie. He's going to be more of a receiving threat in Green Bay. And we all know how much LaFleur likes to use screens. We saw it with Aaron Jones. So Lloyd's going to jump in that Aaron Jones role of being able to get in the receiving game, change the pace back. So there's another one. The Ray Davis one, I may hold off on because you still got James Cook there. And James Cook got hot last year. And they like him in Buffalo. There's a reason why they got rid of all the other running backs out of town there to keep him there. Another one you might want to watch out for, maybe a sleeper. I know he's not a rookie, but Joe Mixon in Houston. A lot of people aren't giving that any weight. They forget he got traded there for a 6th-round pick. So if you need a low-cost veteran in a fantasy league, I know he's not a rookie. I'm going off page. I know I am, but
no, you're fine. He's Oklahoma boy. I'll allow it.
Jordan's there from Louisville, by the way. They just drafted him as far as rookies at Houston. Hey, go watch his tape against Notre Dame. I'm just saying.
Jawar Jordan, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know.
George Jordan's a third down. He's one of those third down backs.
Yeah, he's not my flavor, I guess, so to speak. But Audric Estime, that's another one that got drafted that people aren't talking about enough. Audric Estime is too damn big, too damn fast to have a jump cut the way he does. He might get playing time. There's good fits for certain running backs. Now, Carolina is my only thing. I looked at Miles Sanders' contract where he went and signed in Carolina. And after post-June 1st, Carolina can save a lot of money by cutting him, and he can go to a new team. So don't be surprised if you see teams that got these running backs might cut these high-cost veterans who aren't producing enough in those because it's post-June 1st. It's a big contract date that flips cap savings. So these rookie running backs might become way more valuable in the next month and a half.
Is that why Trey Benson's up there? Just because of Kent Connor and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Trey Benson's solid.
Trey Benson's amazing. I wish we had him.
I love Trey Benson. But it's just he's like I said, same thing with Jonathan Brooks. I love Jonathan Brooks. It's just a team, and
keep your eyes peeled on which veterans get let go ahead of them.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's a big part of it too. Is like, do you go to the player or to the team? Because for me, I'm like you, Josh. I look at the team, and it's just like, all right, there's some offenses I just don't trust, even if there is garbage time, stats or points that the individual is going to get. I just would like a more secure offense that I know the player is going to be a little bit more consistent. I say that, and I didn't even make the playoffs last year because the one thing you can't account for is fucking injuries. But what you can account for is countdowns. What? Check this out, guys. Here is where did we go? Where did we go? There we go. So this is actually the top 10. Right? Is that the right one? No, it's not the right one.
Well, if you're going to win the coolest the coolest press conference, Keon Coleman definitely won that.
Yeah, Keon Coleman definitely did. Let me stop sharing that shit. I think I lost it.
I like Keon Coleman's game. He doesn't have a lot of separation, but I mean, Xavier Legette, he can't run routes. Well, he's great for what they need him to do.
Xavier Legette is a Coke machine on freaking wheels for what he is at wide receiver. It's ridiculous how athletic he is. He's going to grow in time with Carolina. I feel like Carolina has a better receiving room overall than what they had last year. Like DJ Chark and Adam Thielen, pass. Deontay Johnson and Xavier Legette, yes, I'll take it.
Here we go. Let's try this one again, guys. We'll edit this out in post, right? We're not live.
Edit in post. We're not live.
Producer to get with it.
Boom. There we go. The top 2024 rookie drafts as far as like fantasy wise. So Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, Robodunze, Jonathan Brooks, right? There's the running back there.
Neighbors doesn't have value. Daniel Jones is going to be thrown to him.
Right.
Yeah. yeah, I know, right?
It's like the one thing where they drop in the you always drop them, and you're like, who's going to throw to him? And then the season starts, you're like, God damn it!
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah. But yeah, they also got Xavier Worthy talking about who's going to throw to him. I mean, the best in the business. Brian Thomas Jr., man, I really thought if the Chiefs were going to trade up, it would be for him. Does Brian Thomas Jr. move the needle for the Jaguar offense?
Yes.
Is this when we actually see them become a good offense and not just mediocre? Because I don't know. I mean, Trevor Lawrence really last year in his performance kind of took a step back for myself. But what are you guys thinking about Trevor Lawrence overall in the Jaguar defense?
It's time to nut up or shut up for Trevor at this point. He's shown that he can do it. 2 years ago when the Chiefs won it all, it was the only game that gave them trouble.
Yep.
It literally was just a back and forth game, and that's because Doug Peterson's a good coach.
Yep. And also that was the game that Mahomes got injured in.
Yeah. I mean, that helps. If you're going to beat the Chiefs, you really don't need Mahomes playing. But the Jaguars, they have a solid coach. The front office is somewhat competent. But if you get an LSU, right now LSU and Ohio State are wide receiver use. It just depends on what year it is. But they just crap out solid receivers for the past 5-6 years.
Brian Hartline is at Ohio State, so that's why a lot of receivers go there in recruiting. So he's the coach there for wide receivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering that because, I mean, it was like, obviously Alabama had that run of just like can't miss receivers and stuff like that.
Running backs, I mean, everybody.
It just kind of interchanges. But LSU with, Beckham's and the Jamar Charles and that. But then you have Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr.
Justin Jefferson.
Randy Moss's kid was there.
Jamar Chase, that's another one.
I said Chase.
I'm sorry. There's a bunch of them you can go off of.
It just
plethora for sure.
But yeah, and so at this point, might as well.
The one anomaly, Brock Bowers, the Raiders. What?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's why I don't trust this list at all. That's why I like bringing it up so we can basically just shit on it because for one, it's the Raiders. Nothing good comes from the Raiders.
Is Aiden O'Connell still their
Gardner
quarterback?
Minshew is the starting quarterback. He's the luckiest son of a bitch. This dude get Devontae Adams, Michael Mayer, Brock Bowers. They just signed Michael Gallup today as their wide receiver too for 1 year, and then they still have Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah, who really did not even do much last year.
How can you when you have Aiden O'Connell?
Yeah. I mean AOC, the wrong kind, but still, the Raiders. I'm looking forward to them to be terrible again. The Bills, though, right? So we talked about Keon.
He's so good, though.
I know. But we talked about Keon Coleman a little bit. I mean, with Buffalo, right? I mean, we kind of talked about Atlanta and just how it was the big surprise or the big upset, the big head scratch of the draft. But with the Bills, I mean, they're kind of farming out the whole team, right? They cleaned house, quite a bit, cleaned up some of their capital. But Keon Coleman, is that kind of move the needle? Is that a good fit for Josh Allen? And then for the Bills, fantasy wise, I mean, Josh Allen, #1 QB on the year, fantasy wise. So are we still sticking with Josh Allen as one of the top QBs next year?
Yeah. I mean, until Josh Allen shows year one Josh Allen type of thing, he's our modern day Brett Favre. He's gonna have.
It really is.
Yeah, he's gonna have 35. He's gonna have 35 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. And you know what? He's gonna be right there. Winning fighting for
Josh
division.
will run for another 15 touchdowns too. He'll rush for it.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that was the kind of thing with James when finally they were like, "Oh, we just should give it to our running back instead of having Josh Allen running in from the 10 every damn time." But with Keon Coleman, I love this dude's game. He's physical. He is a Buffalo Bill. When you watch his game, that is a Buffalo Bill. As far as his physicality and stuff like that, they talked about his separation, whatever. If we have Josh Allen, with their schemes, they miss Brian Dable as their offensive coordinator till this day. Mm-hmm. I will rest on that one. But Keon Coleman is going to be the one where people, as far as the rookies, people are going to reach a little bit for Keon Coleman because Stephon Diggs isn't there anymore. Do I think it's worth it? Maybe. I'm kind of 50-50.
Yep.
Yeah. So Gabe's.
That's what they call him.
Gabe's me just because mortal enemy, just as far as fantasy wise.
Well, look, I hate Gabe Davis with a burning passion because I had him on my fantasy team. Also, he scored 4 touchdowns against us in that banger of a game that we ended up winning. But anyways,
I was about to say, don't you complain? You won that game. Stop it.
Yeah.
Change the overtime rules though.
But Dave, do you? I project Keon probably going in like a 4th, 5th round, depending on who was there, maybe 6th. I think people will reach for him in the 3rd because there's no one else there, and Josh Allen is his quarterback.
So I agree with you. I think they're going to reach on him, but it comes with a lot of reward because there's no other receiver there to compete with him. They're going to run a lot of 12 personnel. You got 2 tight ends you can run there with Kincaid and Knox. So you got 2 tight ends. Who's the one wide receiver outside going to be? Keon freaking Coleman. So he's going to get plenty of one-on-one looks. He is a huge 50-50 ball getter up in the air. He'll be just fine with Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Even if you reach on him, I feel like the reward's so offerable, you can't pass it up.
And that's the thing when you're talking about 50-50 balls, when people are like, well, he doesn't separate much. He's a freaking huge beast.
He's a freak of nature.
He's a freak of nature, and he runs, and he's a solid route runner, unlike DK Metcalf, who has gotten better at running routes, but mainly he does what he does well, and that's why Xavier Legette's going to be great too. But Keon Coleman's a solid route runner and a freak of nature on top of it. Yes, he doesn't have the blazing speed that Xavier or DK does, but if you need, especially for a PPR league, Keon Coleman is your guy for the Buffalo Bills.
Yep. I like it. So now we're looking at a few quarterbacks here. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, scrolling down. That actually is pretty much it for the QBs that they have on their list. What do you think of those two? I mean, do you think Caleb Williams is going to go 1st round, 2nd round, or 3rd?
Well, if it's a quarterback, it depends on the league. If it's a double flex league, then yes, he'll probably go in like a second, third round. If it's your typical league, he's probably gonna go 9th to 11th.
Exactly.
He's going to be a backup rotational to put in for the bye or whoever they're facing. Yeah, that's
Right.
For the ones that's proven. Yeah.
He has the weapons, and he definitely has. Like, he's going to be like a CJ Stroud, where you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll take him in the 9th or 11th, and if you don't take him, you're probably going to
strike gold if you get him.
Yeah, you strike gold. Jaden Daniels is probably going to be that guy around week 4 or 5 that you're going to pick up because they realize that they're running the ball a lot more, and so he gets those 6 points instead of 3 or 4, depending on your league. So that's why Jaden and Caleb was there, whereas like a JJ, who's a pocket passer, there's so many more quarterbacks. After like when it comes to quarterbacks, if it's not Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, like those.
Burrow. I mean, Burrow's back.
Well, that's a different tier of the Burrow, Justin Herberts of the type of world. Whereas with the Harbaugh stuff, and he doesn't have any people to throw to with Herbert, but Herbert has a better. I think Herbert is a better arm talent than Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow he's Joe Nasty for a reason. Like, it just and he also has weapons. He has more weapons.
Disrespect to Justin Herbert here. Oh my god.
No. Trust me, I love Justin Herbert. I was you can ask Bobby. I was like big on Justin Herbert in that draft. I thought he was the best quarterback in that draft, and it's proven so.
Can you imagine Miami right now with Tyreek and Jalen Waddle?
I know, right? With Justin Herbert?
You mean Miami or
that's what I'm saying? Can you imagine Justin Herbert with Tyreek?
And they went with Tua.
Yeah.
And Justin Herbert was right there, and I went to Bobby. I was like, Bobby, I know you are going to be Tua, but for the love of God, you saw what Justin Herbert's done in like the Rose Bowl and stuff. You saw the throws he was making, right? And then you saw him in the offseason. He was still making those throws. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? He goes, yeah, I am. I was like, you sure you still want Tua? He goes, yeah. He was finally contradicting because he was, and I was like, dude, Herbert is the guy.
Tua is not the guy, man. I can't stand Tua.
But here's the thing: the Chargers are gonna charge.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what they do. They charge things up.
McConkey's going to be fun for Justin.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see the change. We got our local representative in the legal counsel form, that is, who actually is the league winner from last year. I actually forgot about that, man. But he's a big Charger fan, and it's just they just always do something. They always do something to muck it up or charge it up.
Good pick, Roman Wilson for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right. Pittsburgh. That's another really interesting team right there. And actually, here soon we're gonna wrap up, and we're gonna be talking about our personal teams. But Pittsburgh Steelers, right? So they get Russell Wilson out of Denver. Basically for pennies and nickels. Then they also get Fields out of Chicago.
Got a running back named Justin Fields, yep.
Yeah, running back. Good Lord. I mean, like, is that going to be a 1-2 tandem? Who knows what that's going to be? But yeah, get Roman Wilson, an incredible talent in rookie out of Pittsburgh, playing for them. I mean,
Deontay Johnson got traded, so there's an open spot there across from George Pickens to be had.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, Pickens to Pickett was kind of interesting. I mean, Mason Rudolph is gone. What is this team going to be? I mean, are they just going to run first, pass second?
Mike Tomlin makes it happen, baby. Like, it's just one thing that Tomlin does. He makes it work, and he's never had a losing season as the Pittsburgh head coach. You can't say he can't do it because he's done it with Mason Rudolph now. So if Russell Wilson's worst season in Denver that he had last year is still better than what Rudolph and Pickett, that would have got them in the playoffs. They had Russell Wilson last year. Yeah. So I'll say, and now Pittsburgh, I've seen some rumors flying around. Pittsburgh is talking to Denver for Cortland Sutton.
Yep. I have heard that. But I mean, also you got Arthur Smith, right? So going back to his coordinating.
Shout out to your third tight end.
Yeah. But I mean,
they got two good tight ends there.
Yeah.
No. If they're good, no. He loves his mediocre players.
Darnell Washington fits perfect though.
Yeah. Jonnu Smith. They signed with the Titans. Never mind. He can't use Jonnu Smith to throw the ball. I have a bad taste in my mouth because I love Bijan Robinson, and he just never. It's like Tyler Algier. You're mediocre. You do everything.
Yeah, sure. You loved him and you drafted him, right?
What?
You loved him and you drafted him. As far as Bijan Robinson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the most can't miss like rookie running back until he got on Atlanta and Arthur Smith was like, "Oh, you think you're good? Well, I'm gonna give Tyler Algier the ball."
Yeah, exactly. Well, and then you also had some an older guy named Cordell Patterson that was still in the freaking mix.
I can't stand him. Such a moocher.
Yeah, right. I mean he was great for me a few years back, but anyways, Pittsburgh in general, we're talking about offenses that you just can't trust. Fantasy football wise, are you trusting anybody on this offense right now?
Not
because
Najee,
there's so many
the other
questions.
The other running back, not Najee, but the other one. What's his name?
Not Najee Harris.
Warren.
Yes, I love. I got him on my dynasty. I love Jalen Warren. That guy puts up points in limited touches. Imagine if that guy gets the priority role.
We got him as a keeper next year.
Yeah,
love Jalen Warren. That last preseason game against Atlanta, I was like, all right, let's look at this guy. And then it worked out. And plus, if Pickens actually cares, he's going to be great. That's the one thing. Is like, will Pickens care? Because you've seen him sometimes where he just takes off plays.
I got a question for y'all gents about kind of fantasy, but also the draft. Just hear me out. Who's y'all's one guaranteed bust that y'all can put a label on right now, saying in 2 years, who's a bust out of the first round?
As far as like the actual NFL draft?
That just happened. First round.
Wow.
I already have mine. I there's one guy every year I put my stamp on. I've actually been right, surprisingly more about
I typically just only do like my stamp of approval. I don't do like that guy's going to be a bust other than Ryan Leaf, which I was right about.
No, hold on though. Let's go if we can specify, because for me, like if you're looking at tackles, I mean, are we talking about defensive or are we just talking about offensive skill positions?
If you feel like a guy's going to be a bust, throw it on there.
Man, yeah, that's a tough one, man. I mean, that's a nice little curveball.
I'll swing for the fences and say Drake May.
Oh, hating on my boy Drake, really?
That's spicy.
It's not because
of him, the system
of him. He did take a little step back this past year.
It's a new system now.
It's a new system, and he has no one to throw to.
Javon Baker, sir. How dare you? They picked up Javon Baker.
I'm literally going to come back to this and be like, I'm throwing a dart at who I think is going to be a bust. Just because I'm just not high on him. I would rather go with JJ McCarthy, but
mine's Bo Nix. Bo Nix, I feel like has bust written all over him. This is all right. Reasoning right here.
I love that.
So Bo Nix.
I should have gone with Bo Nix because I changed my answer.
Auburn.
I forgot about him. That's how much I think.
What did he do? He shit to bed both years. He couldn't live up to the hype. What did he do? He ran away. Couldn't do it against SEC talent. When everyone's like, he's so good against Pac-12. Yeah, it's disbanding. I'm like, what? Okay, defensive backs in Pac-12. There's some good ones, but for the most part, that is not SEC DBs. You're not facing Nick Saban every year. You're not facing the Georgia DBs every year. You're facing Pac-12. His numbers skyrocketed, and he figured it out. I'm telling you right now, Bo Nix is not going to work out in Denver. It's going to be a shit show. And then Sean Payton's going to use him as a scapegoat. Get a new quarterback in 2 years.
Well, it kind of with Sean Payton with him, and I kind of agree with you more than Drake May. It's just Drake May just disappointed me his last year, and that's why.
He was a letdown. Don't get me wrong, but Drake still has. To me, he didn't run away. He tried to stay and battle around it because he got his wide receiver the year prior with Devontae Walker taken away. Remember?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He had to adjust on things, and his wide receivers were getting drafted. His offensive linemen were getting drafted.
No, and Bo Nix looks like a type of the Sean Payton type of like quarterback where he took Taysom Hill, which is the bane of my existence. He should never be listed as a tight end in fantasy football ever. Okay, he's a freaking quarterback. Keep him there. All right. That's the same thing with Joe Milton. Joe Milton could be a freaking tight end. Like if they put him in Sean Payton, he could probably be a tight end like that.
Spots because you're very mad right now.
Dude, he has hated that motherfucker for years.
It's nothing against Taysom. It's nothing against Taysom. It's the fact that people like draft him as a tight end, and he's not a fucking tight end.
Josh, you're as red as your hat right now.
Josh. Well, here's the thing. In our league, with a fantasy fuck round here on the REV channel, by the way. So if you guys want to join, link is in the below for the Discord. hop into the community and definitely be meeting with us.
Ooh,
and Dave, dude, we invite you to that, man. We would love to have you in some of the chats. You're in there. That is you in there. All right, let's go. Let's go then. Dave's in it. You should be in it. But okay, to answer your question, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do what I do. I'm gonna bet against my team just so I win somehow. Either win money or I win in actuality. I'm gonna say Xavier Worthy. I'm gonna say that the guy's gonna get injured. The guy's gonna get injured. It's gonna be another Kadarius Toney.
Okay, but that's not.
He's gonna get injured.
Kadarius is not Xavier Worthy. He's more Sky Moore, maybe, with the injuries and just not living up to potential.
No, Kadarius also.
Sky Moore has actually just been kind of pushed to the side. I mean, his wasn't really so much injuries. I think that was a little bit of something else. But,
Kadarius doesn't shut up. That's his problem.
Oh my
God! He
does
a lot of talking and doesn't back it up.
He does a lot of video recording.
Playoff games. Yes.
In the dark.
He tries to talk crap to fans on social media, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing right now?
Ex-fans.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, yeah. I'm like, focus on the game. What are you doing?
Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I hope he's not a bust.
You just threw a curveball to me, sir.
I'm just going to bet against
Here you go. That's it. Yeah, Tvshka's trying hard to reverse jinx the Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do reverse jinx the Chiefs? You're my prediction for Super Bowl. I think you're going to three-peat.
Yeah. I think so too, man.
But Chris Taylor here, basically to answer your other question, who I think is a surefire can't miss.
Wide receiver one.
Holy smokes.
Fantasy.
Yeah. By the way, good job, y'all showing up. I was watching the chat the whole time.
We have people here.
Yeah, we got people. Hey, what's up, man? Surprise Keon wasn't picked first. That was the guy they wanted. Yeah, as far as the Bills, instead of trading down, why didn't you pick somebody? I don't know.
Because of his separation, speed, and bullshit. I don't know.
We're just running through these guys. Chargers fans in a nutshell, pain. Yeah, seriously. Shout out to our boy Justin Toner, who you can find with this guy on normally on Thursday nights. Maybe not this Thursday, but on the Ruckus Wrestling. Drake May. Is that your bust? I'm guessing that may be his bust. Fins up. Chris, we got another channel for you to watch. There's a ton of Dolphins fans on there. Wasn't really impressed at North Carolina, but Patriots, that's where Drake May.
Javon Baker pushed the agenda right now. Javon Baker, baby.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, JJ McCartney has buzz written all over him. I don't think buzz. I just say vanilla though.
Watch him work.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I still have more respect for JJ than I do Bo Nix. Like, I just can't.
He's back.
He's about to get the most great value Drew Brees ever.
Yeah, but then we got Brendan Marr. Hello there. Hey. Hello, sir. Yeah, Brendan Marr. You can find him on Turn Pagers. They Were Not. He's got his own podcast, which has been great. It's
What's it called?
Turn Pagers. They Were Not.
Yeah, it's a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Now I get the reference. I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
What?
I should have led with Star Wars. Sorry,
did Tvshka just have a little bit of dyslexia there? No one noticed?
I may have a little bit of that too.
He quoted his show's based off a quote from The Last Jedi. Guys.
I know. That's why I heard it. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, what did he just throw out there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in football zone. So
no,
totally
you're good.
Different galaxy.
But getting back to football, right? We're talking about our teams, baby. Team talk. We already talked about the Chiefs a little bit. I feel like for the rest of the population, they're tired of hearing about the Chiefs or seeing the Chiefs. So, Josh, Cowboys. Let's go.
I figured your talk would just be about Taylor Swift's new album, but I digress.
Yeah, you would think wrong. I said the Chiefs.
Pretty much, Chiefs, right? That's what it is.
No.
Anyway,
you know what? You talk. I'm gonna leave.
So the Cowboys.
You sound so sad already. Why?
Because it happens every year. It's the same cycle. You've seen the meme where it's like, oh, we're gonna be 8-8. Oh wait, we're gonna be good. Actually, we lose a couple games. Nope, we win a couple games we shouldn't. Then we get to the playoffs, face the Packers, and my life is fucking over. Every freaking time.
And of course, you got a Packers fan on guest here. Sorry.
Yeah, no. This is a torture that I live with every day. Okay, I literally like when y'all played the Bears week 1 this year, and Jordan Love was playing out of his gourd, and I would literally call my dad and was like, "Did the Aaron Paul? You can't keep getting away with this. Like I'm tired of it. It's not why. It can't keep happening." Okay, so we go into the off season, right? Jerry all in, and of course Skip Bayless had the best comma known to man. Should be in the Hall of Fame with all in comma my ass.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that Derrick Henry wanted to be a Cowboy, and they didn't even call him. They didn't even call him.
And now he's with your guy Lamar.
And then let Dan Quinn go. Tony Pollard didn't even know. He was on the Pat McAfee show during the Super Bowl, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, Dan Quinn. What did you think about Dan Quinn going to the Commanders?" He's like, "He left." It's like, "Yeah, he left." And then Tony Pollard went and left, which was okay.
Didn't they take like 3 free agents to Washington with him too on the defense?
Yeah, I mean, Lane Vander Esch retired.
Well, yeah, I knew that. Dorrance Armstrong, he went to Washington.
I think Curse left too.
Yeah, he did.
So Curse left. Now, granted, Diggs is coming back. We did decently in the draft. I was fine with our draft. With what we did, we got a linebacker. And you can't go wrong because we're trying to replace Tyron Smith. He's holding on for dear life with every inch of his body that he can. He is just not there. Tyler Smith is doing very, very a lot better than I thought, because one thing Jerry Jones has done is he's reached compared to other ones, which we'll get to your Packers and reaching on offensive linemen compared to other people who they thought was on the board. And then, of course, a bunch of people wanted the DB from Iowa. Just because
can't stand Cooper DeJean. I can't.
I figured, but that's just
I'm the one Packer fan who didn't want him. I didn't want him.
Right. But that being said, I think this is pretty much the last year for Dak. This is kind of the last go around. We kept Mike McCarthy. I would rather have Sean Payton, but we've shown that Sean Payton, when you actually give him, you actually realize that it was not going to work with the way he is in Denver right now and the way he's really pushing his weight around. It wasn't definitely going to work. He
wants player personnel too, and Jerry's not going to give that.
Jerry's not going to give that up. So as much as I would like Sean Payton, that wasn't going to work. There really wasn't that hot shot coordinator that I really wanted. And like Dan Quinn has shown that he's okay as a coach, but you need to have an offensive coordinator around him.
Yep.
And Mike McCarthy was fine as running we were fine last year. And then Dak Prescott picked the perfect time to be Dak Prescott against the freaking Packers, and our defense went to shit.
You're still crying about the Cowboys? Okay.
Yeah, dude, you gave me time. I was literally about to be done. You actually came on the right time, so I could jump off and then let Dave go.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. No, I had to leave. I had to shake it off. Actually, I shook it out. Okay. But Dave, other than Penix references, you said Packers, man.
But I'm going to step away real quick and listen to Dave.
So that's the thing. I've heard, as Josh said, I've heard plenty about how Packers reached on an offensive lineman in the first round. Well, he had a late first, early second grade on him, so he went where he did, 25, late first. But I don't question what Gutekunst does for offensive line, because he's found Zach Tom, who's our right tackle, in the fourth round. He's found Rasheed Walker, who was our left tackle in top 10 pass blocking win percentage last year in day 3. I mean, Elton Jenkins was round 2. It's all over the place. He finds them all over the board. So, I mean, I like the Jordan Morgan pick because it reminds me a lot of Bakhtiari. They kept saying, "Oh, David Bakhtiari's not going to play left tackle. His arms are too short." What was he good at? Agility. They call him a dancing bear. Same thing they called Jared Morgan. I'm not upset about the pick. I like it because if you want to protect your franchise QB, you go build the trenches. And that's exactly what they did. And then they flipped to the defensive side of the ball. Edgerrin Cooper, still my favorite draft pick of the day, but my second favorite was probably Javon Bullard out of Georgia. They paired another free safety that I love because, I mean, SEC country, they see Georgia local here, so I got to watch him a lot. And pairing him up with Xavier McKinney, who's been the highest graded coverage safety since 2019, that you're just pairing two high-graded players on the back end that the Packers haven't had in a long time, like Charles Woodson, Nick Collins type names thrown around there. So I'm excited for that. I like the guard they got from Duke, Monk. He's probably going to be the right guard from what it's looking like. I've also heard some rumors that Zach Tom may be kicked to center, where they envisioned him after being drafted back in day 3 was it last year? Yeah, it was last year. And Marshawn Lloyd, I feel like he's going to have value in fantasy, but not to be like maybe a deep flex player for the receiving ability. Still one of my favorite picks, Michael Pratt in the 7th. Like, I don't know. Green Bay was known in the 90s for grooming QBs, sending them off for draft picks, and then getting extra picks for next year's draft. They did with Mark Brunell, Aaron Brooks, Matthew Hasselbeck, all got second, third rounders for him. So if a guy falls to the 7th, I love it. Kalen King, I didn't expect him to fall that far in the 7th round. He was more of a projected 4th, 3rd rounder from what I was reading on the reports. And I didn't really jump in because they said he had a good year the previous year. So I went and turned on his tape from 2 years ago. I'm like, what? I'm like, this guy was possibly one of the top 5 corner. So it's something I noticed from Gutekunst what he does. Dontavian Wicks last year, who they drafted out of Virginia, he had an amazing year the year prior. Not the year of the draft, but he's Jaden Reed, same thing. If those players show that they can be at that level previously, that they can try and get that out of them again. So it seems to be working so far, and I don't question him anymore because the guy has transitioned Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, Devontae Adams to the young receiving corps we got. Offensive line always usually stays in the top 12, top 10. I'm not complaining.
Can't keep getting away with this, man. Okay, sorry.
That's if you guys know the Ron Wolf in the 90s. He started that tree, and the
Ted
executives
Thompson.
rolled on. Bingo. And Brian Gutekunst was there in the late 90s with Ron Wolf and Ted Thompson as an executive assistant. He was a scout as well after that. And then he learned underneath Thompson. Now he's the GM. So he's using Ron Wolf and Ted Thompson's techniques on drafting, free agents, everything combined. And it seems like it's really coming together. And I was joking around. I'm like, man, I experienced a rebuild. It was the toughest 2 months of my life last year in the first part of the season. And now the Packers are back in it again. So, no, I'm just grateful for having a GM who knows what the fuck he's doing. And I'm sitting here watching Chicago burn it down for 30 years. And the one team I can be jealous of is Brett Veach because he somehow is the one guy who lands these freaking studs like Jaden Hicks in the 5th freaking round.
Yeah. Talk about Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs. In Veach we trust. That's really the saying right there. He has been phenomenal. But here's the thing, though: the GM for Chicago came from Kansas City.
Yes, he did. Ryan Poles was underneath Reed for a good bit.
He was underneath Reed. So
he looks 22, which is crazy.
Dude, well, that's because Black Doe crack, man.
Retired from the NFL as an offensive lineman, really, really young too.
Yeah. But I mean, Veach is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to really question it with really a lot of the picks. Some don't hit. I mean, that's just the nature of the game.
Which ones do you not like for your class?
For the class,
for your Chiefs specifically, and you can't use Worthy. You already scapegoated him for the bus.
Yeah. No. I like Worthy for the speed. I'm interested to really see how he fits in and what it actually looks like because we also signed my boy Hollywood Brown, which I am so excited to get a jersey of because he's Oklahoma boy. Also now playing for Kansas City. But we also got the off the tackle, man. I mean, hopefully the Kingsley is going to solve that issue for us. Jared Wiley is actually known as Baby Kelsey. So that is what, Yeah. I mean, and we talk about the quarterbacks being able to sit behind, starters and learn from them. I'm so excited for Jared Wiley to be able to do that with Travis Kelsey, the GOAT of tight ends, along with, Gronk and them. But to be able to sit back there and just learn, it seems like he's a better
tight end room a lot. I like those tight end room a lot. Well, what was that other 84? Is
that Fortson probably?
Fortson,
yeah. I mean, they've always had good tight ends that fit the role. They didn't always just take over for Kelsey. which I don't know how anybody really could, because Kelsey just takes over for the whole team when it really needed.
Him and Gonzalez, both Kansas City Chiefs, were top 5 tight ends of all time.
Kingsley Sumatia pick is underrated in my opinion. I really like that because the guy y'all got from Jacksonville last year probably was the most holding motherfucker in the entire league.
But here's the thing. Here's my short synopsis of that.
Okay.
If he stayed with the Jacksonville Jaguars, they would not have got those called. As soon as he put on the Chiefs,
the microscope is on you.
Exactly. And everybody's going to look at that, and they had to call something. And I mean, they say he was quick off the ball. I mean, I haven't really reviewed a whole lot of tape to really measure it, but he did the same thing he did in Jacksonville. He gets called for it with the championship team, the Chiefs. It is what it is. But also we have Jaden Hicks, who is the defensive back from Washington State.
I wanted him if we could have grabbed him.
Same metrics, like height, weight, everything, wingspan. All the same of Snead, who we just lost.
I'm about to say, didn't you lose Snead? You needed Hicks.
God bless
you were good on getting Hicks to you.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. But as far as who's going to bust, I mean, I really don't know Norzad, Hayden, or Hansen.
Norzad's a sneaky good pickup in the back. I like that.
Norzad is, yeah.
I like Norzad, Haddon.
CJ Hansen from Holy Cross is the last pick we had because we traded a lot away. We really didn't get too much this year. Next year we got a couple of picks that we got in the Snead trade to the Titans. But, I mean, it's just with that. I mean, it's just in Veach we trust. I like the look of it. We'll see. Like you said, Sky Moore didn't necessarily pan out. I still don't think Sky Moore is a bust. I just think that he's just going to have to figure out where he's going to fit in this offense.
Once Tony's gone, I feel like Moore will go into place.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But even Tony, I mean, whenever he was there, and healthy, he was very pivotal in some of the playoffs last year. Oh my God, I know, man. I know it's like the most egregious mistake. I mean, they may try to explain that away, but at the same time, I mean, hey, congrats, Bills. You got the win. We'll take the Super Bowl. You can keep your regular season win. We'll take the ring.
The poor Bills, man. 16 seconds. Now the one flag they're celebrating now, but they don't.
No. It's worse. 13 seconds.
Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. I've got the shirt. I'll go get it for you. But go ahead.
And then going back, dude, with your all's division, this is going back to, as my dad calls it, this is going to be the black and blue division again. This is of the NFC North, because Brad Holmes, I told my buddy who's from Detroit, and I was like,
oh, he's an excellent GM.
I was like, dude, the thing is, I was like, Campbell is a great motivator, and then he's putting together a good staff. And their offensive coordinator is elect. I really like their offensive coordinator. The fact that they've kept him means that his interviews
he's a head coach in 2025.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't a head coach this year. Like, I don't know why he wasn't.
He turned down 3 offers to come back to Detroit again.
Okay, because I figure like they just, it's like one of those things like they had, because like Brad Holmes is, and plus the right forwards have gotten out of the way, and the right forward is like, oh wait, here you become, and she hired the right people and has gotten that organization on the right track, which is crazy to think about.
That was Martha. Martha was the old hag that wouldn't get out of the way.
Martha. Oh, sorry.
For the 98 years old, trying to hang on to her husband's wishes of, take care of the team. Well, she wasn't. She was dragging it down the dumpster.
Right.
Her daughter, Sheila Ford, got the CEO rights from her and finally passed it on. And first thing she did before hiring Brad Holmes, before hiring Dan Campbell, one of the things I loved, she rekindled the relationships of Chris Spielman, the famous linebacker, Barry Sanders, and Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
She had statues made of them and put them outside of the stadium and set them each one for celebrated them to the Lions and what they mean. And I love that. She changed the culture right off the bat because it was such a bad undertone of having Barry and Megatron, no titles for him. Chris Spielman, no titles. So to show them appreciation for what they gave to the franchise, I loved it. And then they went out and got Brad Holmes. And Brad Holmes, even though Les Snead is a heck of a GM, Brad Holmes had a lot of network. He knows a lot of people. That man just got Carlton Davis III from the Bucks on a trade and just bolstered his cornerback room before the draft and free agency. A lot of people don't remember that, and seeing that it was like under the radar move, and I'm like, no, I hate that move because now Jordan Love has to face him. So,
I mean, I wouldn't want to place him compared to C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who they got rid of.
I'm not a bit. CJ bites too much.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad they made the right move.
Yeah,
like, they got rid of
CJ. They went back
after he did the wave by in like the first quarter to the Niners and sealed their fate. I was like, get him out of here.
Stupid blue ski mask. I'm like, dude, take it off. It's stupid.
Yeah. I'll take my shirt off because it's not stupid. But yeah, believe, baby. You got to believe. 13 seconds.
All the Bills fans are crying right now.
Oh my god. But I know you do have to go. We do have some questions from the chat for you, brother.
Oh yeah, so I saw what kind of season will the Packers have.
Yeah. So here we go. Here is definitely one. Well, it keeps moving. You guys are sending so many good chats in the,
Thank you all for joining
comments there. But
yes,
yeah, Dave, what kind of season will the Packers have, man?
Well, the NFC North, as you guys just said, I think it's going to be a more rowdier bunch this year. I think Minnesota's going to take a little bit of a step back because they're going to figure things out. JJ, they don't know what they have. Obviously, they wanted him to be the QB, but they need the offensive line. They didn't draft any. They still need cornerbacks. They still need. I mean, Harrison Smith is slow to step. You can see it. They need safety next to him. Louis Sané looks like a bust. The Vikings are going to take the step back, and they're going to take the basement award this year for the North. That is my prediction. The Bears are going to show more fight out of them. Caleb is going to be that quarterback that they want him to be. I see a bunch of Bears fans jumping on and saying, "Oh, we're going to win the division. We're going to if he doesn't throw 4,000 yards and 35 touchdowns, they're not going to go ahead and they're not." Yeah, and I'm like, okay, the Bears Hall of Fame QB records are ahead. No one's even thrown 3,000 yards, or I'm sorry, 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns for passing. No one's done it in the history of the Bears. Only team. So to put that type of expectation on a rookie like that as a fan, it's one, it's wrong, and two, they're Justin Fields supporters, and they're just hating because they want success so quick. They have to be patient, even if it's 5 wins, if it's 7 or 10. They got to be patient with Caleb and let him grow. They got to be patient with Romeo Dunze. Let him grow. Yes, you have Keenan Allen. Yes, you have DJ Moore. Those leaders will help coach these rookies along. But at the same time, the Bears, I think, end up with about 7 to 8 wins. I think they get a win above from last year. Their defense is so good, but I just feel like that whole meshing point where you got to feel each other out. Keenan Allen's never played with Caleb. Romeo Dunze's never played with Caleb. DJ Moore's never played with Caleb. There's going to be some miscues here and there. New offensive coordinator in town. I like the scheme. I like what he's going to put out. But same thing. You got to learn everybody. You got to have that meshing here. So I think the Packers are, as of right now, are going to come in second. I think Detroit does take the division again because Dan Campbell, as you said, is a hell of a motivator. They've assembled a heck of a team. Ben Johnson knows that offense in and out. And they're all their younger players they drafted last year. Running back out of Alabama. Then you got St. Brown, who's an absolute freaking nightmare to cover. So good. And then you got their tight end, who their rookie came out of nowhere and destroyed everyone. So I think
Iowa, they freaking breed them.
I think
it's true.
I think Detroit takes it. I think Green Bay ends right around 10, 11 wins, but I think Detroit ends with possible 12, 13. Because
Do you think the Bears, not to cut you off, but do you think the Bears fans are going to look at what C.J. Stroud did last year with the hapless Texans?
That is such an anomaly. You can't use that. That's the problem.
It's a bad expectation.
Yeah,
you can't expect him to use that. They're going to expect it. Well, C.J. Stroud did it. C.J. Stroud proved to me, even before the draft, in that Georgia game against the best defense in the country, he shredded that secondary. That was the moment to me he sold me on him. And I actually had the first overall pick in my dynasty draft. I took a haul to trade back 1 pick. Someone went up and got the kid out of freaking Florida, Anthony Richardson, all raw athleticism. I'm like, no, y'all missing out. I'm not saying a word. Took C.J. Stroud, and I got Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud in my dynasty.
I mean, if Richardson looked good until he got injured, though.
Richardson is not a bad QB prospect, but compared to what
Dude. Yeah, what Stroud did the whole year. Yeah.
CJ Stroud, even though he had the elite wide receivers, that man took Georgia, the national defending champs at the time, to the house. And the only reason they didn't win because of a missed kick. That's it.
That and Marvin Harrison went out with a concussion like the second quarter.
And he still produced.
Yeah.
So
and Michigan, them against Michigan is like an outlier. It's such a weird anomaly. Like it's just like one of those things of like it's just a mental head fuck or whatever it is. Or they were just stealing signs. Like, we've like especially.
Everyone does it. They just got caught. It's just like tampering. Everyone does it, but they got caught.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end with that. Detroit wins it. I think Green Bay and Detroit both make the playoffs, but Detroit, they're going to have a better defense this year. You got Jack Campbell, who's probably going to be looking good. They got a couple good defensive linemen, I believe, in the draft, from what I remember. Their safety room is going to be more blended together, so not as much young talent running around again.
Hutchinson's still solid.
Hutchinson's going to be a beast, man. I hate that they got him, and he was a Michigan guy to come out too. So, like I said, I could take a step back and look at it as an NFL standpoint. Yeah. I appreciate what the Lions have built and done. The only thing with Campbell, he needs to put aside his pride and learn to take the field goal. Stop going for it on fourth down so many times, because if you go back and look, the times they didn't convert, if they won the extra game or two, they could have got number one seed in the NFC.
Yeah. Well, I call him the Roy Lebowski is basically what I call him. It's the Roy Lebowski. No, not the big Lebowski, the Roy Lebowski. I'll tell you what, man, I can bench 500.
Listen, the guy that takes a triple shot espresso in the morning is not the guy I want to mess with, okay?
No.
So I love Campbell. I love what he's about. I love what they built. But, yes, I think Detroit takes it. I think Green Bay second. Chicago shows more how do I say this? They complement each other as they mesh later in the season, which they might win some more games later in the season. So, man, Jeremy's just hating on Campbell. Come on now.
Yeah, he is. But hey, I know you got to go, Dave. We don't want to tamper with your time anymore.
It's okay.
But brother, we do appreciate you, man. It's been great having you on here, man.
Like I said, I had a certain time, but I talk ball and I can't shut up.
Yeah. Well, for your wife's sake and your 4 kids' sake, definitely go spend some quality time with them. But for the ones watching, where can they follow you? Where can they see you next? And and then also just some final words.
Yeah, first of all, I love being on the show. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I feel honored to be asked to still do guest spots like this, and I really do try to accept them all. But with being dad mode, husband mode, it's like, all right, I'll try and fit it in. But no, I really do appreciate coming on and talking ball, because you can ask Bobby, like he'll be at work and I'll call him and be like, hey, did you see this? And be like, yeah, Dave, I only got 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm like, all right, Bobby, my bad, I'll shut up. All right, go ahead. I can come on anytime you guys need me to talk ball. My schedule's freeing up more, and fantasy, regular football talk. And I heard you talk wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan, so there's that too. I heard the Star Wars mentioned too. I'm a Star Wars buff. I'm not like hardcore, but
one of us. One of us.
But
no, will be one of us.
Then you can go ahead and follow me on X, or Twitter, as I call it, at Steak and Cheese at the bottom. That's how you spell my new username. And if you don't like cussing, my profile is not for you, because I let it all out.
Well, especially one of our guys, the I Dig This Dave guy. There you go.
Who's Chris? Do I got to worry about a stalker or something?
No.
I mean, if you get a bunch of gifts in your DMs,
we call him Gift Taylor, because we've never seen his face. We've known him for 4 years, never seen his face, and he basically just replies with gifts. And
what if it's Bobby just trolling you with a different account?
Trust me, it ain't Bobby.
Bobby's
not that creative.
Poor Roberto. Don't hate on my Roberto. But like I said, I love coming on, guys. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry, Tvshka, if I was straying away from your.
Not at all. I mean, you're one of us, man, because that's what Josh does every fucking time.
Yeah. My brain.
I just got to be better at being a producer and be more assertive. So
my brain goes ADHD with the movie references.
Yeah, mine's like, squirrel. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. My tangents go ADHD, and then I finally get there, but sometimes just because like, thank you for explaining my joke, asshole. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Hey,
Well, typically what I do is I'm like, oh, a timestamp. Hey, it's been 154 minutes, guys.
Right.
I have one more
Just a
prediction.
reminder.
Quick thing ends up. Packers go in the playoffs, meet Dallas in the wild card, and they beat them by 40 again.
Ooh.
Well, it's good talking with you, Dave. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Next day after Jerry fires Mike, tells Dak he's getting traded.
That was one thing. I do want to just for 2 seconds. I do want to keep you on for this. Where will Dak go? Here's my bold prediction.
Ooh.
After this year, he will be a Ram.
I would say more like Seattle.
Didn't they just draft a QB?
Doesn't matter.
I feel like
That's
Seattle.
my bold prediction because I saw that question. I was like, what team would Dak go? Because unless he wins the Super Bowl or something, or finally gets to the NFC Championship the first time since 1995.
Let's go, Jeremy. Let's go. Sweep the Pelicans, baby.
I got one. If you hear it.
Atlanta, they seem to love quarterbacks.
That'd be so awesome.
Nope, because this team has a journeyman quarterback right now, and they have a loaded skill position. Raiders.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott, Devontae Adams.
Oh yeah, Davis.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah,
Vegas.
Yeah, that makes more sense. The logical sense would be, well, maybe Saints, but I would like to see Dak. If Sean's still there, I would like to see Dak in that skill set with him.
But what if Sean comes to Dallas instead?
Oh, dude, I take that every day. Just why did you even put that in my brain? Now I'm excited for us to just tank the season, and then Jerry to just have to go into a home or something. Like, I don't want to wish ill will on anybody, but damn,
Dallas
don't do that
gets blown
to me.
out mid-season. Jerry goes on for a post interview, and next thing you know, he's like,
no, not that part. Not that part. I didn't say he was going to have a
die. I just said go into a home. He has like a mild heart attack. Didn't say massive. I said
nursing home. He goes to nursing home.
He has a stroke. He has to live there the rest of his life. He can't say anything.
Drink out of a
else.
straw.
Cowboys.
It is what it is, man.
Y'all put that evil on him. I just said just a home.
See, that's Army veteran mentality right there. That's
exactly
what that
right.
is.
Yeah.
Going the dark alleys.
Oh, dude, we'll get dark. We'll get DC dark in here, right?
Don't maybe get Heath Miller Joker face on a kickflip somebody with a skateboard over.
Oh, what are you, like an agent of chaos?
No, Dave. What you have to next time, not our channel, but next time another channel asks you to come on their channel, is if you're good at something, never do it for free.
I'm not good at anything. I'm just average Dave. That's what I keep telling you.
Well, that's great.
I'm trying to do Heath Ledger
Because
Joker thing, and then all right, fine.
But Dave, thank you so much,
brother.
brother. You're absolutely awesome. You are more than welcome on any show at any time that we have it. Let me know if you play Sons of the Forest or Mandalorians, man. We'll hop on, but I know you don't.
I've got the Mandalorian theme song on my phone when I have it on my playlist. Like, it'll go from Metallica, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, and then the person will look over next to me. I'm like, don't judge me.
I have way too much Baby Yoda shit, so.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah.
But brother, get to your family.
Get to your family.
We're keep you much longer.
Oh.
They're all asleep?
It's 11
right.
p.m. here.
Well, I want to get to drinking, and I do have guests, so I'm going to leave.
God.
You guys can keep them.
Your little AA meeting, USOB.
Yeah, we are going to do an AA meeting. But we're going to let you go, though. We're going to go ahead and wrap up with some of these comments real quick. But send your love for Dave. Send your love for Dave in the chat.
Dave. Yeah, Dave, there you go. That's the last comment we've got. Dave is a fun guest despite being a Packers fan. Well, you know.
It's okay. Who's Jeremy a fan of?
I think he's a Dallas fan.
Yeah, I believe so too. Yeah, he's in Oklahoma City.
At least Josh is cool. No, Jeremy, though.
No, Jeremy's pretty cool, too.
Yeah. But brother, but thank you once again, Dave. You take it easy, my man. We'll definitely be talking soon and hopefully be seeing you soon as well.
Yeah.
Hey, right, just give me a holler and I'll try to hop on.
All right, man.
Definitely, brother.
All right,
take care, everyone. Salute. Dude, so cool.
Yeah.
So fucking cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good find on that, brother. Good find.
Yeah.
Let's run through these comments because they did get out of hand, which is good.
Which is good. We got commented out.
Justin Toner jumping in saying, "Yo, Tvshka and Josh, what's up, my dudes?" The Bills drafted some good talent, but the trade with the Chiefs still has me confused. I'm with you, man. Like, why trade down if you're just gonna get somebody? Like, just get them. Just fucking get them. But it is what it is. Yeah, mine's still have a good team. I definitely do. I really do. He said agreed. Campbell's meathead play sometimes. I mean, it
Tell
works.
you what, man.
Yeah. Tell you what. Yeah, they will be biting kneecaps. Like him, Dave. Yeah, but I hate. He blew the game against the Niners. Yeah.
Yes,
guessing he's
and
still
no.
talking about Campbell, right?
Yes and no. Like they were holding on for dear life. They were on life support at that point.
Yeah.
So.
This I fucking love. Let's go. Let's go. Thunder up, baby. Officially sweeping. A lot of sweeps in the NBA. Quite a bit, actually.
There's of the playoffs.
Yeah.
What that has a 7-game series. The NBA was the only one if you're down 3-0, the other team has not come back and won. So,
oh, dude, yeah. I mean, it's so tough to do a clean sweep on the back end.
Yeah,
you know?
it's happened in hockey like 4 times. It's happened in that 2004 series with the Red Sox and Yankees. But that's about it.
Yeah, talking about Dak, the Raiders fans would eat him live. Dude, I mean, I feel like Dallas fans are worse. Like Raiders fans are assholes. Let's not get that, confused.
Philly's the worst.
But Dallas fans are they're fucking prima donnas, man. Like, I'm sorry, you're not, but most of them around here in the freaking heartland and in Dallas, they are, dude. They so fucking are.
Yeah.
Because you guys are still like clasping to your pearls from the 90s and like, oh my God, we should be so great. And it's like, dude, you've got to have good ownership. You've got to have good GM. You got to have good coaching. You guys haven't had any of that in 20 years plus. So, I mean, at this point, like, I know you accept it, but it's just like, yeah, until Jerry's gone.
I don't accept it. I just have to deal with it.
Okay. All right. Well, then you're dealing with it. You're doing a great job of dealing with it. But yeah, Chris the GIF asked underrated pick for the NFL draft.
Underrated. As far as like the sexy picks is like, the running back, quarterback, like skill position wise. Underrated is the fact that Keon Coleman fell as where he did. I'm very high on Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an underrated pick in a sense because I think that was Bill's first only receiver.
Yeah. It was their first pick, but maybe just underrated as far as where he went. Right. I mean, think of that.
I was very high on Keon. Especially I get Leggett going over him, but I would have taken Keon over Leggett. And I know Carolina traded up to get him. On that.
And maybe that's what they saw. Like, hey, this is our guy. We know he's going to fall further down. We can trade. We can get a couple of extra picks because they did get an extra third, I believe, from Kansas City.
Like that, yeah.
I'm not sure what they got from the Carolina.
I mean, I would take Keon Coleman over Xavier.
Yeah.
But Xavier fits. So to answer Justin's question, like why didn't they take Keon there? Because they can get more draft picks from Kansas City if that's who they traded with. Then yeah, that makes sense to get Keon because I'm very high on Keon.
Yep. And Justin's also saying, I can't wait to talk WWE draft. Yeah, man. We're excited about that. Right, Mahomes being on Raw. Dude, I'm gonna have to watch that. I really do.
Yeah.
The Logan Paul borrows the weapon. All right, that's cool. All right. I'm not gonna read any more. I don't want any spoilers on that one. Difference between prima donna and violence. I mean, but it's Vegas now. Like, it's a whole different breed of fandom. When it was Oakland, the freaking hoodlums in Oakland, yes. Whenever it was LA, the gangsters in LA, yes. But now it's Vegas. I mean, they can travel, but it's just a bunch of hoity-toity people now, probably. I mean, they're going to try to play off the mafia mentality that Vegas has, but it's still not the same thing. And also, you live near Dallas, bud. You know the people. Mm-hmm. Any sleeper picks the team's got this year? Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit. CJ Stroud could be the next star for the NFL. Dude, definitely. He already is. What are you talking about?
No, he already.
Yeah. I mean, the way he like conducts himself in interviews. I mean, we talked about ego before and attitude. I mean, he's got that, but like in the best way. Like it's that subtle. It's a response of ego. It's not like a push of ego. Like, oh, I should be the best. It's just like I love the one where he was being interviewed and they were on the couch and there was like, man, like this guy's never seen Killers. He's like, man, you're looking at one right here.
Right.
He's like, you're sitting next to a killer. So that's like a defensive kind of ego. Donnie Mitchell. Yeah, to the Colts.
A sleeper. I do like Jalen Hicks. I do like the Jalen Hicks pick.
Yeah. Jalen, this was defense back.
Yeah, I like Jalen Hicks.
I know.
Oh, he's gonna grace us with his presence?
Wait, what? Where you seen this?
Mr. Daniel Haygood.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
The commissioner, former commissioner, current legal consultant himself.
Yeah, I bought him out.
You bought him. Yeah, bought out your shares, bitch.
Yeah.
It could be better GM than Terry, right? But how about the Giants? I mean, dude, who knows, man? I mean, a new coach. I mean, we'll see if he can kind of, how fast he can turn that ship in 1 year. But I really don't want to see what you guys are going to look like next year or the year after.
All I know is, Daniel, we talked about it at the beginning of the show. Go back and watch it. Up our views. Give us a thumbs up. But I said, your coach, all he does everywhere he goes is win ball games.
Yeah,
it might be the most sexiest thing ever. It might not be by, hey, what's he doing? Why is he doing this? Dude wins.
Yeah.
So
and his hands go up.
And they stay there.
Yeah. No, he does, man. He's a winner for sure. All right. Last two. Texans picking up Blake Fisher, I think, is an underrated pick for their O-line. Okay. All right. And you're not wrong because they got the skill position set, right? But as far as youth-wise. So, yeah, build up.
Shout out to Tank Dell surviving a gunshot, by the way.
Ooh, right? Club shooting. Dude, that was nuts. Dave joined the Ruckus. Hey, he said he's on the Discord, guys. He's on the Discords. Tag him. Blow him up in that shit, man. We're gonna have a good time. I know I had a good time. I'm going to continue having a good time with my guests here. Josh, what do you have for the people?
Well, this week we're going to try and do, because it's Derby week here, at least for my life. It is Derby week, so get ready for the best 2 minutes in sports coming this Saturday, the first Saturday in May. Differs every day. But that being said, as far as our schedule here, I'm going to try and I've been working with the game dudes to try and fit in a Wednesday night. As far as Thursday goes, we've talked with Justin. It's probably going to be tough for us to do Ruckus Wrestling this week. But we're working with Justin to try and at least give you all some content. If anything, I will not be there just because of the family stuff that I have. I have family coming in from Pennsylvania, Texas, all that for Derby. So we would probably have to continue and talk about the draft next week. As far as the WWE draft, not the NFL draft, that's what we did today. But we're going to try and get you game dudes this week, and then that's pretty much what I got going. And also too, as we say, like, we're trying to get more guests for you all. Obviously, Dave and Bobby. And
shout out to Dave,
please go and shout out to Dave. Shout out to Bobby, who's both come on here, stay and give us their time, give us their knowledge, made it fun for everyone as we're growing this channel. They're helping us out. We put a description for Fins Talk Sports Network, who both of them have come from. Please go in, show them some love, especially Gift Taylor. You're a Dolphins fan. They talk everything Dolphins over there, but. So we're having, but we're still having a lot of collaboration going on with that. It helps when the head of that channel works in the same office that I do, so it helps with that. But still, please feel free to go over there and give them some love and all of that as we grow out this channel. And thank you all for all your support. Thank you for all your comments today. That's awesome.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah, you motherfuckers could have shown up a little earlier, by the way. Just saying. But no, absolutely, man. We love the love. We love the support. So keep it coming. Let's continue the party in the Discord. GIF, blow it up in there. But also for those of you that are watching, not live, right? But maybe watching in the future. Yeah. Let us know how it is. Did World War III happen? Did the robots take over? Who the fuck knows? We don't. But what we do know is that we want you to like and subscribe. Click the button down below. Click the bell so you can get notified whenever we have new shows coming out, new live shows, new recorded shows. But really, more importantly, join the Discord. That's really where a lot of the action is happening. That's where everybody's hanging out and chatting. And you also get notified as far as whenever we go live in that too. For the other shows coming up, you've got random bracket battles. We're still trying to figure out Trailer Park Trivia, guys, by the way. So we tried to upload it. There was a little bit of copyright issues with some of the segments. So we're going to have to kind of re-edit that and kind of figure it out. But that is definitely something we're going to be kicking off for sure in the summer. Okay. For sure in the summer. I know we got like a month or so for it, but we definitely will be getting that going. And I don't know, we're definitely getting some music content. I think this weekend we're gonna be testing out a little bit of the GoPro and some of the recording for the band, for some of the live stuff at the next show we have. So we may be able to put some content there. And then also, if you are yourself wanting to be a content creator, go to patreon.com/RuckusEV. Join us at the $20 tier. Well, really, it's called the big dick tier, right? Because if you swing a big dick, you swing a big stick, and we want to see it. But also, we really just want to help you kind of develop your branding, develop your show, curate it, and give you an opportunity to share it on the channel. But other than that, if you want to help us get new chairs, better equipment, go to streamlabs.com/RuckusEV/tips, and you can give to us there. Any contribution would be greatly appreciated. But other than that, man, just have a great week. Be kind to someone, because you never know what people are going through. And I think that's it, Josh. Right?
Yeah, I think we did it.
Let's do it. Deuces. Later.